Mm, 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 mm. 𝗕𝗟𝗡 did it. Somebody did it. I don't know. It just stopped the screen. I think Stephanie might have accidentally ended the stream, because she got some power now. Now she want to show off. Stephanie did it. We're gonna blame Stephanie. We're gonna blame Stephanie since she got a seat.
Was it me?
No, I'm just gonna blame you. So he said, what happened? I don't know what happened.
I
No,
don't know either.
I was playing the video, and next thing you know, God dang, Stephanie was up to like 90 people. Miss D, go upstairs. Miss D dropping coconuts, y'all.
My bad. I was just trying. I couldn't hear when I first came in. When I first came in, I could hear you, and I couldn't, so I wasn't sure. So I just got out and came back in, and then you said I ended the stream. I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah, because me and you was watching the video. It was just me and you. I looked over there. I said, why is this stuff? I said, what? Oh man, Miss Gaffey. Coconuts is for dropping the chat. Hey, Ronnie B is on live. Ronnie B is on live. Yeah, Ronnie is. Yeah, what's happening? Man, we was rolling. We had all right, well, we can't play the other one. People was tuning in, cooking and everything. I'm hungry. I had chicken.
What happened in the other one? It looked like a lot was going on.
Man. All right, I guess 11 people. Let's just go ahead and play the video. We started from the top. This is an hour 42 minutes. Oh shit. I mean shoot. All right, here we go, y'all. Wait a minute. I'm still trying to get things together. We're gonna blame Stephanie that time. Stephanie can't even get the video started. Here we go. Wait a minute.
I can't do nothing right now. I'm stuck.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
So wait, they're in a like a red box or in a blue bucket like you two?
In a red box.
Did they call them their wives? He goes, yeah, he called them their wives and they kissed them. Anybody that left would be killed.
I'll take it.
Oh, but you know what though? Check this out. When she said they in a red box, he said they in a bucket, because you saw how little the bucket was. Watch this.
We wanted to survive the coming up apocalypse.
So wait, they're in a like a red box or in a blue bucket like you two?
Look how big that red box. That's a storage thing, a red box. And the little girl said a red box.
In a red box.
Did they call them their wives? He goes, yeah, he called them their wives and they kissed them. Anybody that left would be killed.
I'll take it up in the helicopter and throw it out. We're just dangling so he tells us where the hell they are.
Did you get the 4 kids that were in a barrel?
I don't have children.
No more little girls out here.
No.
When Utah police were contacted by a concerned mother and informed that her ex-husband wasn't giving her their kids, even though she had custody of them, they thought this would be a routine domestic dispute. Little did they know that they were stepping into a twisted world of lies, unimaginable violence, and doomsday cults that would lead to one of the most disturbing cases they had ever encountered. In September of 2017, Clark Christensen, the police chief of Spring City, Utah, was approached by Micah Coltharp and asked to do a wellness check at her in-laws' home. She explained that she was separated from her husband, John Coltharp, and that he and their 4 children currently all lived with John's parents, Keith and Catherine. Micah had tried to call John about seeing the kids, but his phone, his parents' phones, and the home phone had all been disconnected. Chief Christensen went over to the house to see if everything was okay, and as far as he could tell, it looked like the family had just set off for a vacation without telling anyone. Micah was insistent that something was wrong. The following never-before-seen footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed attorney, a licensed clinical psychologist, a former licensed professional counselor, and a licensed professional counselor. Hoping to get some background on John, the seeming mastermind behind everything, detectives decided to talk to Micah and her mother.
I met John right after I turned 16. He was 21, and, we liked each other and wanted to start dating, and of course, Mom said no. Yeah, so Keith and Kathy would allow us to meet in secret and lie to them. They didn't care that I was underage or anything like that. When I met John, I was going through a lot of stuff and very depressed and looking for answers. And I was taking religion classes in high school and stuff. And, when he came home from his mission, it's he had all the answers. Everywhere I went to, everyone was like, oh, this is what we believe. And he was like, no, this is answer, and had proof and evidence. And it was answers for why the horrible things in my life were happening. And it was to the point where for the first time in a long time, I actually felt comforted and felt right and felt like things were going to be okay. So he lures you in.
We don't know what happened to the stream. All of a sudden, the stream stopped. Me and Stephanie still looking at the video. Then I noticed, I said, man, what happened? So I'm blaming it on Stephanie. I said, Stephanie did it.
Yeah, because I don't have a clue what happened. I was just trying to get in here. Excuse me, let me in.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. So glad y'all came back, though. Here we go.
With these promises of grandeur and happiness and reason for things. And then once you are in, it's now if you don't follow everything I say, these are the horrible, awful consequences. In the government conspiracy is if we get, taken by police, our kids are going to be murdered and put in the system and every single day of my life. That's all he would talk about. That's all he would research. He would have people over, all these different kinds of people talking about earthquakes and different calamities, solar flares, planetary alignments, and all the reasons for why the world is.
Given John's strange obsession and her growing concern for her children, Micah worked with one of her husband John's siblings, Heather, to get a spare key to the house. Chief Christensen entered the house with Micah, and they immediately knew that this was more than just a family taking a spontaneous vacation. Something truly terrible was going on. The house had been completely ransacked. All of the furniture, ranging from mattresses to couches, had been taken, and even the photos were missing off the walls. Oddly, the electronics, including TVs and computers, had been left discarded in the house. Chief Christensen talked with John's sister Heather to determine if she had any idea what could have happened to John, Keith, Catherine, and the kids. Not only was she just as surprised as they were, but she had even more shocking information to share with them. The grandparents had banned all of their other children and grandchildren from visiting after John had moved back in. Worried that the children might be in danger, Chief Christensen began asking around the neighborhood to see if anyone knew why the Ковтарпs had left. According to one of Keith's friends, the family had been seen packing everything into a U-Haul the previous day, and Keith himself had said that they were moving to Cedar City because something bad was happening. Micah's mother further elaborated how tumultuous Micah's life had been ever since she met John.
I have not liked him from the day I met him, and he knows it because he's got such a freaking cocky attitude that he comes to get what he wants out of it. His social skills lack in a big way, and he offends me at every turn. But my daughter, on the other hand, was under mind control, and she was married when she was 19. She was baptized when she was 18, and he performed the baptism. It was a shock to us. We chose not to disown her, but to accept her and her choices and see how far it went. And we forbid political conversation and religious conversation in our home. But one day they walked in and they were both in flowing black coats, black clothes, black overalls. She was pregnant. And they walked in, and John started talking about black helicopters, mercenaries taking over and shooting everybody, all this wacko stuff, and creating all this stuff in his head. And we were just like, oh my God. And then he said he'd lost his job. He couldn't make enough money to support a family. And they informed us they were moving here. And I couldn't say anything about it. She was 19 years old. We came out here, and I even drove out with them. They packed a giant U-Haul, and I drove his car. And he drove us into an apartment he rented over the internet. And we pulled into this low-class, unkept neighborhood, into an apartment that had been occupied by college students who had spilled beer and peed all over the floor, never been cleaned. And John walked in, and Micah was a few months pregnant, sick as a dog. And he looked at her, and he's like, better start cleaning. I was angry, and I knew what I was in for right then and there. She wouldn't listen to me until a couple years ago. She just got a driver's license 2 years ago. That's how much he's kept her back. She barely finished high school. He talked her into giving up her college education and her graduate school, and everything she's ever attempted to do, he's shamed her out of or done something to take her, away from public eye. Doesn't allow his children in public. He doesn't want them getting people's germs. He doesn't want them getting people's opinions.
This is troubling, but not particularly surprising. It's the grandiosity, sense of entitlement, and exploitative nature of people with antisocial personality disorder that often leads to them treating others, particularly their romantic partners, as their property, rather than a human being with individual rights and autonomy. It also makes sense that he would try to hinder any accomplishments, like a driver's license or schooling, as these would provide her with independence from him and potentially expose her to a world outside of John and his delusions. With no way to contact or find them, Micah was terrified that her kids might be in some sort of danger. So Chief Christensen advised her to get a lawyer and a divorce, as currently she and John were still married, and he had every right to go somewhere with his kids. After a tumultuous process, Micah was finally granted a divorce and given full custody of the children on November 27th, over a month after John had disappeared with them. Unfortunately, now it was time for the hard part, finding John and getting the kids from him. In the time it took Micah to get a divorce, a few neighbors had spotted John going back to his parents' house to pick things up before disappearing again. Knowing that John had to show up again eventually, Chief Christensen began sitting outside of the 𝗘𝗢𝗡's home, waiting for his chance to speak with John. Around midnight on December 1st, John finally showed up at his parents' house again. However, this time, he wasn't alone. With him was Samuel Schaefer, a close friend of his. When Chief Christensen approached the two men and asked why they were there, they told him that they were picking up Micah's death certificate. As Micah was not dead, and Chief Christensen obviously knew this, it became clear that the two men were trying to hide something. But the extent of the horrors they were covering up couldn't even be imagined at this point. When John refused to tell him where the children were so they could be given over to Micah, Chief Christensen had John arrested. Despite his worry that Sam was involved in some way, he had nothing to hold Sam on and had to let him go. This would prove to have tragic consequences. John declined when asked to speak to detectives, asking for a lawyer and refusing to cooperate. Eventually, though, the police were able to locate Keith and Catherine's cars on a compound near Lund, where John and Sam had been living not only with John's parents and 4 children, but also with Sam's 2 daughters. The compound was raided on December 3rd, and the authorities were disgusted by the living conditions that they found there. The storage containers that made up the compound were riddled with filth, trash, and clutter. Boxes and containers lined the floor, and dirt had been caked onto every surface. Among the junk and the refuse of the compound, there were signs of the children. Children's clothes, toys, and drawings could be found throughout the storage containers. However, there was no sign of any of the 6 children themselves. After dedicated searching, the police were able to find John's 2 sons, alongside their grandparents, Keith and Catherine. Strangely, the 2 young boys' hair was so filled with tree sap that everyone thought they'd have to shave their heads. While 2 children being recovered was good news, the fate of the 4 girls was still unknown. Keith and Catherine were questioned about the location of the girls, but they insisted that Sam had hidden them, and they had no idea where he or any of the girls were. While they hadn't been able to find all of the children, the police did find something else that gave them insight into this whole strange situation in the form of a binder. The papers within the binder contained the rules and beliefs for a fundamentalist cult named the Knights of the Crystal Blade. The cult not only took beliefs from the Mormon religion, but also simultaneously believed in Norse gods and Roman gods. While the cult did take beliefs from several religions, it's important to remember that they weren't formally associated with or accepted by any of these religions. With further reading into the binder, authorities learned that John and Sam were not only a part of this cult, but they had actually started it. According to the binder, Sam was a seer for the cult, with many of his strange so-called revelations listed for authorities to read.
Wow,
John was the
crazy.
group's leader, and according to the cult's rules, he was to be worshipped like a god. Apparently, John had foreseen an impending end, though the details of what that meant wouldn't be revealed until later. Discovering John and Sam's involvement in cult activity was highly concerning to authorities, and an Amber Alert was put out for the 4 missing girls. While one team stayed on the ground, desperately trying to find them, another set of detectives decided to talk to Micah and her mother, as well as John's parents, hoping to get some background on John, the seeming mastermind behind everything. Through these interviews, the investigators soon discovered that all this talk about the coming apocalypse was a chilling cover for something far more horrifying than anything they could have imagined.
So how did John get custody of the children, or how did he get physical possession of the children, and when was that?
So we lived in an apartment that had an upstairs and a downstairs, and how we broke it down was he lived upstairs, I lived downstairs, and, the kids, go freely between the two.
Mike, are you muted? Or am I frozen?
Damn, I'm muted. Thank you. Good question. JC Lover, love to travel. I just looked, and this video has been uploaded like 11 months ago. So, you can kind of guesstimate it when this happened. He probably got the footage and everything. I don't think it's like up to date, like this just happened like a week or so ago. But I like to look at stuff like this because I'm looking at the people that's in they body language, the way these people think. I'm trying to get into. We're gonna find some kids. Watch, y'all.
More horrifying than anything they could have imagined.
So how did John get custody of the children, or how did he get physical possession of the children, and when was that?
So we lived in an apartment that had an upstairs and a downstairs, and how we broke it down was he lived upstairs, I lived downstairs, and, the kids, go freely between the two, and he worked during the day and I worked at night. So the second he got home from work, I left. So there was always someone there with the kids, and we decided, okay, we'll just co-parent. And I wanted a divorce. He said, no, we have to wait. Let's wait till, at least the new year, and then we can have a whole, fiscal year, and then it won't be all messed up on taxes. And I was like, all right, fine, because I couldn't afford it anyway. I didn't have a dime in my name. We were in $40,000 of debt, the majority of which was spent on survival gear, anything he wanted for his computers.
What year was that?
This year.
Okay. This year? And where were you living? Where's your apartment?
Provo.
Yeah.
So.
Is that where you live now? Same apartment or different?
Different apartment.
Okay.
The reason I don't live there anymore is because end of May, he came to me and told me that he was fired and that his company was going out of business. After he went missing, I talked to his boss and he goes, oh, no, he quit. We begged him to stay. He said he had a family emergency. So he came to me and he goes, I've lost my job. We can't afford the apartment anymore without my income. I have decided I no longer want to be a member of this society. I am no longer working. I'm going to live off my parents' Social Security. So I've already called the landlord. We have to be out in a couple weeks. I'm taking the kids to Stampede, and you're going to come with me. And I said, I don't have a job down there. There are no jobs. Someone has to take care of the kids. He goes, you don't need to worry about that. My parents are going to pay for it. We'll live off our food storage. I'm like, the kids need clothes. They need food that is nutritious. They need all these things. They have to have a future. We can't just give up everything. And he's like, well, then you're on your ass. I was working 65 hours a week. So I was working so much to make money and take food and clothes down there on the weekends, and that's the only time I got to see them. I was working at a place called 𝐓EE Sciences, and he didn't care because the world was going to end.
So prior to that, did they go to any public schools?
No, he refused to let me do anything. I agreed with
So they've been homeschooled their entire life?
I agreed with homeschooling to a point because they were young, and I got to the point where John wouldn't allow the kids to socialize with any of the neighborhood kids or even with the cousins because he was such a germaphobe. He didn't want anyone to get sick. And then I got to the point where I was like, all right, I've taught them as much as I can personally. I'm not a teacher. I've tried. This is very hard for me, and especially with kids 4 different ages. They need something more. I can't do this. They need something beyond what I can give them. And he refused to give them any sort of tutoring, schooling, whatever. He's like, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. None of them can read. None of them can do math. They're bright kids. And when
Wow, none of them can read, none of them can do math because they are not letting these kids go to school. Yeah, shout out to everybody, man. Thank everybody for joining in, understanding what we're doing. We getting the information and stuff, but hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up, please. We are doing all this to help the kids. The more this channel can grow, the more we can get our word out. And hit that thumbs up, please. Take time out to help us, to help these kids. We are helping people. So please hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it so much. I can't tell this thing. That computer doesn't update. But did you hear what she said, though?
Much as I can personally, I'm not a teacher. I've tried. This is very hard for me, and especially with kids 4 different ages. They need something more. I can't do this. They need something beyond what I can give them. And he refused to give them any sort of tutoring, schooling, whatever. He's like, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. None of them can read. None of them can do math. They're bright kids. And when I would try to talk to him about teaching, all I wanted to teach about was like religion.
It's hard to imagine that John's parents, or anyone for that matter, would be willing to let him move in and continue to treat his children this way. But as the detectives were about to discover, Keith and Catherine Ковтарp had an interesting story of their own to tell.
I do have a question. Are we being charged with something tonight?
At this point, all my job is to do is get the facts. I don't know if there's anything. I would like to just speak with you and get this whole story. This is a mess. You know.
Sure, it's funny when the police come, everybody is smart. Am I being held for anything? And man, oh my God. You know, daggone well you done did something you had no business doing.
Keeping your right to mind.
Yeah, and my wife and I both were just really beside ourselves with all this because we thought we didn't know we were doing anything wrong either.
Right.
We don't think we've done anything wrong. In fact, we're just taking care of our grandkids.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's obvious that even though Keith is positive he hasn't done anything wrong, he's still nervous that he and his wife might be getting in trouble. Part of his anxiety might be due to the layout of the room. Keith is literally backed into a corner with his access to the door blocked, which may make him feel trapped, anxious, or defensive. The Reid technique, a popular method of interrogation in the U.S., recommends that investigators not be seated between the subject and the door to prevent false imprisonment claims. Otherwise, the room conditions appear to be consistent with a typical interrogation room, stark and minimal. There's no barrier for Keith to hide behind, such as a table, so the detective is able to observe all his movements. Just like her husband, Catherine is insistent that they haven't done anything wrong. However, further questioning will prove that this might not be the whole truth.
Wow. Happy birthday. Somebody in the chat has a birthday. KY. 85, baby. Happy birthday to ya. I'm not like Jaguar. I apologize. I'm not Jaguar, so I can't. I'm just going, yeah. Y'all throw some gifts and everything up in the chat right now. Let me go grab my happy birthday. Let's show her some love, y'all, with her beautiful self. She look like she ready to find some kids. Boy, that'll be a blessing birthday gift. How you do this thing? Watch this, y'all. Let me give you a birthday gift real quick. There it is. Bam. Up. Wait a minute. I'm going to give you some. There you go. Some seafood. And some chocolate. And some ice cream. You know me. I don't see the cakes, y'all. I don't see no birthday cakes. and top it off with hold up, y'all. Wait a minute. I gotta find. Oh, you can do a search. I forgot that. There you go. Birthday cake. Got a slice for myself. Bam. No doubt, no doubt. Uh-huh. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. All right. Now, back to our scheduled program.
Movements. Just like her husband, Catherine is insistent that they haven't done anything wrong. However, further questioning will prove that this might not be the whole truth. After both parents have been read their Miranda rights, detectives work with them to get a timeline on the family fleeing to the compound.
I guess for quite a while, myself and my husband had been, looking at the world events and everything, and we read the scriptures and saw the prophecies of the end times and everything, and John was always talking to us. I mean, he was always talking to us about that stuff, and so we were into it. It was interesting, and we believed that we're probably near the end of times, and we wonder how the Lord's going to gather his people to safety and all that. John started talking to us and telling us that he had received revelations that we are to gather out because things are going to start happening.
So in this process, it got to a point where Micah was demanding to pick up the kids and take them to her apartment in Provo with a guy that she was living in with there, and John would put up with that. He said, no. He says, we got to leave. So within 2 days, we had a U-Haul van, and we're loading everything up, taking stuff out of our house, and we were out of there.
The revelations he'd gotten on the end times, and we're supposed to get out of Babylon, and her wanting to take the kids, we said, okay, let's go. And we didn't think it was illegal to take the kids since he had them.
At the compound, officers continue to look for the missing children, but their endeavors have hit a dead end. John continued to refuse to cooperate with authorities, leaving the officers with no choice but to rely solely on tips from the Amber Alert. Additionally, they're banking on any insights gleaned from Catherine and Keith's interviews, hoping they might offer a hint or clue to the whereabouts of Sam and the missing girls. Back at the station, not only do detectives now have a better idea of why and when the family packed up and moved to the compound, they've also gained a lot more insight into John as a person. First of all, it seems likely that John described Micah in a very negative light to his parents in order to elicit their help. He may have wanted them to see him as the victim in the situation, so they would be sympathetic toward him. Yet, as Keith is about to admit, John didn't just rescue his parents from the supposed apocalypse because he loved them.
He got a commitment from us before we left that we were going to support him and support this whole thing with regard to the United States.
So by support him, what does that mean to you?
He was in charge. We had to vote to allow him to be in charge.
But financially, who was paying for it all?
Me.
You
He
were?
took all the money.
He had you make a commitment to support him financially and support his costs?
Yeah.
By doing that, did you close your bank accounts and stuff too, or?
No, in fact, I left all the credit open that I had. In fact, I was almost debt free. It's really upsetting about all this whole thing. But so what he did is he had me stop making mortgage payments and stop paying the bills and run all my credit cards all the way up. He bought a Chevy Suburban from that place in Cedar City, black, fragile. Yeah, and it's a 2016 Suburban.
So what was his reasoning for needing that vehicle?
Do missionary work, proselyting.
Keith readily admits to being convinced by John to financially support the cult, which is indicative of John's manipulative and parasitic tendencies. It's possible that he's using these so-called revelations and prophecies as a way of convincing his parents to support him financially as they fled off the grid with him and the kids. This would also explain why he wanted Micah out of the picture so badly. He likely knew his days of manipulating and controlling her were long over, so he needed to get financial support and run with the kids as fast as possible.
The revelations that John receives and Sam receives had to come from somewhere, but I don't believe they were from God now as I look back. They were so convincing and so beautifully written out of a language that they never would have used. And they were uplifting.
Having studied it extensively, John is familiar enough with the Bible that it was likely easy for him to manipulate his words into sounding biblical enough to fool his parents. As Catherine is starting to realize, everything her son has told her seems to just be a ruse in order to get her and her husband's money. But that's not the only reason he wanted to go to the compound, and that true reason is more disturbing than anyone can imagine. On December 4th, just a day after the compound raid and the Amber Alert is issued for the missing girls, officers received a pivotal tip. A concerned caller reported a suspicious man in the Lund area. At the scene, officers are stunned to recognize the person. It was Sam Schaefer. With none of the girls in sight and Sam walking in the same vicinity as the trailer where John's parents were found, officers apprehend him immediately. As one of the officers drives him to the commander center for further questioning, Sam asks a question that makes his stomach churn.
Did you get the 4 kids? Or
What's that?
the 2 girls, they were in a barrel, wrapped up so they'd be warm.
In a barrel?
After dodging any questions about the missing girls, Sam suddenly inquired if the officers had found them. What truly sent shivers down the spine was his nonchalant remark that they were warm in a barrel. The officer immediately informs the other officers via police radio. But this was only the beginning of an unsettling twist in the story.
It was in the back of the junkyard with the red storage bins.
Where at? Back of the junkyard in the red storage bins. Couple of
here on the property.
On the property behind.
It's a property that's back behind to the right a little bit. It's got red containers on it.
Red containers. What color's the barrel?
Blue.
It's a blue barrel. He's saying, "I'm going to pick his stuff up from where we're at."
I can't imagine it'd still be in it.
So is this by the North Connex boxes?
That junkyard, yeah.
Back in the junkyard.
It's the back of the left of the junkyard. I doubt they're still in there. I just was scared.
How far back?
Maybe, I'm a bad estimator distance, maybe 40 yards or something.
As he rushes to rescue the little girls, Sam's nonchalant attitude about this entire situation continues to baffle the officer.
If they're still there, they're going to need water. And, no matter where they've been, they need water. Food.
As the officer and his team reach the junkyard, what they witness sends a wave of dread over them.
I left him in a blue barrel. Hey, hi. What's the matter? Who's gone? Where's your sister? What's her name?
Bless her heart. Oh my God.
Where's the other 2 girls?
They're in the storage container.
Which one?
The red one.
One of these?
No. A storage container very far away.
Cedar, one of you 15.
Is it that one?
Who's in here? Correction, I need command. Is she okay? Are you doing okay in there? Okay, you want to come out here? Let's get you over one of our trucks and get you warm. Okay? Command, one of you 15. Okay.
I need some ladies in there.
Okay, are you cold? Command, I believe we have the 2 Schaefer daughters. We cannot locate the other. They were locked in a container. Hey, let's go to my truck so you can get warm. Let's get her out. Make sure it's okay. Don't touch that. Don't touch that. Cedar, want to be a 15 or command? Let's start medical this way, please. Cover up with your blankie. Let's go to my truck. Yeah, let's get you to our truck so we can get you warm, okay?
In a heart-wrenching sight, officers find 2 girls, aged 7 and 4, freezing out in the open with a loaded gun next to them. While one of the girls speaks with the officers, the other is both too cold and too scared to climb out of the barrel, as the officers continue to assure her to trust them.
Okay. What's that? I'm about 1,000 yards north of where you buzzed me earlier. Out here, kind of a junkyard. I'm away from my truck. I can't turn my lights on. It's okay, all right? Come on out. Come on out. We'll wrap you up in your jacket, okay? We'll make sure you stay warm. We got to get you to a warm vehicle. Come on.
The police.
Yeah, we're the police, yes.
Over there.
We're here to help you. There's a whole bunch of us out here trying to help you guys. Okay, just come on out. Come on out. We have to find the other two.
As the officers continue to convince the little girl, all units rush to the location, including those who'd picked up Sam. With both of John's daughters still missing, police deployed trucks, vans, and helicopters to begin scouting the location. Officers on the ground continue to interrogate Sam about the location of the two missing girls. What he reveals next is nothing short of horrific.
Gosh, I just want to keep him warm. I thought I was going to come back for him. You know what I mean?
Well, where have you been?
Just down south.
You walked there from last night, clear down south today?
Yeah.
Are these your daughters or are these your friend's daughters?
No. Should I say? Or I guess. One of them's mine, one of them's John's.
Contrary to what the officers had assumed, the 4-year-old in the barrels was John's youngest daughter. This meant that the other two missing girls were John's older daughter and Sam's younger.
Which one's yours?
The tall one with the dress.
And what's her name? Is that all that's out here? There's no more little girls out here?
No, not out here yet.
You don't have any more little girls? I was told you have 2 little girls of your own, biological of your own.
Two of my own.
Yeah.
That's one of my own right there. And so.
Where's the other one at?
She's with my other daughter.
Where's your other daughter at? If they're out, the reason I'm asking, if they're out here, it was only 23 degrees in Cedar last night.
Oh no, they're not outside. They're at a friend's house.
Down in St. George?
No, not there specifically. But should I? I mean, I was under the impression too that John told me to protect the girls, and he didn't want them to be taken, and I just respect his wishes. I figure he has custody, so I didn't think it'd turn out into this. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was gonna be a raid or anything, but kind of scared me when it was.
So
and he's still laughing like he. You know, that's that nervous laugh to try to calm himself down while he lied to these police officers, because he know that these police officers know you did wrong. He know that these police officers know you did wrong.
These are the only 2 girls that are out here right now.
Out in the wild, yeah.
Okay. And you stuck them in that barrel.
Yeah.
To keep them warm.
To keep them warm.
Why don't you just take them back to the house?
I figured I'd be arrested on the spot, of course. And
so you put them in a 50-gallon drum.
Yeah, I was going to come back. And then I thought I was being followed, but I guess, I don't know. I just went, so.
Let's go back to my car over here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're right. You are so right, 𝗘𝗢𝗡. 𝗘𝗢𝗡, that's right. Stuff his tail into a barrel with no clothes on. Y'all don't want me to start.
Where are the other 2?
Down south and at a friend's house.
Where's that friend's house?
Should I say or should I not say? Or do I need a lawyer or something like that? Or
he hasn't been ready to write yet.
Okay. I can read you your rights, okay?
Okay.
As Sam continues to stall and refuses to reveal the exact location of the other 2 girls, officers continue to coax the little girl out of the barrel to safety.
Sweetie, you've got to come out. Come on. So we got one Colt and one
She
Schaefer.
still haven't came out?
She's the Schaefer. She's the Colt. Come on out. Come on out.
Helena G, how you be, Helena G?
All right, come here, grab it. Let's go. Come on. Watch the gun. Watch the gun. Watch the gun. I got it. Where do we need to look now? In one of the red containers. Or that's a blue barrel. You're okay, don't be scared. I'm going to take you to a warm vehicle.
With the girls safe in the police truck and paramedics on the way, authorities regroup to discuss the next plan of action. While this is happening, an officer continues to circle back and forth between Sam and the little girl seated in his truck.
Get a little drink, sweet. Can you drink out of a bottle? Mm-hmm. Go ahead. You take it. You take it and get a little drink. Okay. We'll get you some food as soon as we can, okay? I don't have any food, okay? Soon. You want some more? I'm going to leave this with you, okay? All right.
Now, this happened, 11 months? Yeah. The upload was done 11 months ago, so this is definitely not new. It's not new.
Don't be scared, okay? We're here to help you, okay? All right. Be big girls.
Okay. And then I'm officially under arrest, or?
You are officially under arrest right now, yes.
Oh, okay.
You're a subject of a nationwide Amber Alert. Do you understand what that means?
No, I think I know what that means.
Let me backtrack a little bit too, because you're not officially under arrest. You are being detained while we further our investigation.
Okay.
Maybe that'll help clear things up for you.
Yeah. Thanks for clearing that up. I just wanted to know if the arrest sticks, even if I say something, or it doesn't matter because I broke the law without knowing I broke the law. Does that make sense?
There's always mitigating.
See how smart people try to be? This is facts. If you break the law and you don't know you're breaking the law, you're still breaking the law. The law has been broken. Court might have a little leniency on you, but if you're doing something like this, throw them to the wolves. That's how I look at it.
And exigent circumstances in every case. I don't know your story yet.
Right.
I don't know the circumstances.
Right. Okay.
I do want to know where the other kids are.
I know you do. Yeah.
Theater 315 out of field.
Whether you took them knowingly or unknowingly.
Right. I still want to respect John's wishes, but
we have to find you what?
John's wishes is he no longer the custodian?
He has zero rights to these kids. Zero.
Why is that?
Other than he's their biological father. That's it.
I thought I just took them and that was...
You could have been misled.
Oh, okay.
You could have been misled.
I see.
Okay? We have to find them.
Okay. Should I talk to the lawyer?
That is your choice. That is your right. I've read you your rights.
And then I'm officially under arrest, though, if I say that, right?
I don't think you're officially under arrest, but you are being detained.
Okay. Sounds good.
During the course of this investigation.
Okay.
I can't place you under arrest because I don't know what charges you're looking at.
Right, okay.
I'm here to find 4 kids, 2 in particular.
Right, okay. I understand.
So if you wish to talk to an attorney without any further questions, that's your right. If you want to talk to me, that's your right. You're free to do so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I'll ask him some questions.
Okay.
With Sam lawyering up and refusing to give any information, the officer rushes back to check on the girls. This time, one of them tells him something so twisted that it turns the entire search mission on its head.
Hello? Okay, I've got 2 kids, 2 little girls. They said the other ones are in a red Connex. The suspect lawyered up, but he told me that he took the other girls down south somewhere where they're safe. The girls immediately told me the other 2 are in a red box, hiding or locked away.
With the conflicting information at play and given Sam's reputation, there's all the reason to believe the girls.
Could you tell us where the other 2 girls are?
They're approximately far away from us.
Really far away? Did you go in a car? Are you okay, sweetie? She's freezing.
When the doors open, then I get cold. No.
No, you just walked? They're close. Are you okay? Are you starving?
No.
You're not hungry, but you're hungry?
I'm hungry, but I'm not starving, but I am hungry.
Okay, we're trying to round you up some food. Do you still have water left? Okay, just keep sipping on that water. We're going to try to find you a little blankie to wrap you up.
I am This coat was a blue X on it.
You have a coat with a blue X? Okay. Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. When your dad left you in the blue barrel, did you see where he put the other girls?
Yeah.
Where?
He walked all the way to the right backstage very far away, and he put his girls there.
He did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get the fuck very far away.
Is your dad Samuel?
Yeah.
That's your dad? Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm going to close the door so you can keep warming up.
Presuming that the red box may not be as far away, authorities set out on foot to look for it.
They told me a red box.
Check those. Check this.
But the girls specifically said a red box, and they walked there. They did not drive a car. But they said very far away.
They said very far away.
But you're talking little teeny 4-year-old. So if there's any way we can start searching, maybe over by those trees, I don't even know.
By this time, 2 helicopters, an ambulance, and 20 law enforcement officers are desperately looking for the girls. And the one man who knows exactly where they are isn't willing to talk without a deal, even if their lives are at stake. However, his statement alone isn't enough to invoke his right to silence, and so law enforcement can continue questioning him. Livid with Sam, some of the officers are unable to hide their frustration.
I'm telling you, I'm not sworn. I'll take it up in the helicopter and throw it out. We're just dangling until he tells us where the hell they are.
We got the ambulance coming out right now.
Yeah.
These 2 girls are froze half to death. We gave them some water. We're just here to make sure, and we're going to make sure these girls are healthy.
Okay, good.
We're right here on scene. We got an ambulance on its way out.
Okay,
now.
good.
We're looking through all these Connex boxes here for the other 2 girls because it is freezing out here.
Yeah, no, they're not here. They're under a blanket in a trailer. But
in a trailer that doesn't got any heat,
yeah,
Sam's gonna be cold.
Yeah. I do want them to get out of there.
Okay. Is that something you're willing to take us to so we can get them out of there?
I've heard some. Oh, don't get me wrong. John told me never to say this to a cop, but I've heard some horror stories about CPS and stuff. I just wanted to go basically in a car straight to her mother.
Well, and I do know then the grandparents are still right over here. They're not at their house, but they're over at our command center by the trains.
Oh, they are.
So they're over there. Your grandparent, that's not your grandparents. The grandparents are still over there.
Yeah, okay.
So like I said, our intention is the welfare of the children, to make sure that everything's safe. And that they go with their parents. We don't intend on taking kids. That's not our position unless it's a really bad household. We're just looking to make sure these kids are okay.
Yeah, I was so scared when I was running back. I figured they'd been found, but because I thought there was guys in the junkyard last night. I guess I was wrong about that. But.
No, nobody's in the junkyard. We did come out here earlier today. But we checked all the boxes.
They didn't get out or anything.
They didn't. They heard us, and they said they were told to stay quiet, so they stayed quiet, and so they did what they were asked to do.
Yeah. I feel terrible about that. I don't want that to be in the charges or something. I was so scared. Yeah. What I was gonna say is, basically, I'd want them to go straight back to Micah, and then I'd agree with him.
Mike, and I don't.
That's their mother.
Their mother. And
yeah.
I believe she's on her way down here.
Oh, I'm sure she is.
So
she's probably right around the corner ready to shoot us.
I've been out here all day, so I couldn't tell you that, but I believe she's on her way down here. So is the other 2 children, are they close by here then?
Yeah.
They are close by here.
Decently close.
You walked to it.
Yeah. We walked to it last night. I had to carry my daughter. We were in a bad way last night too, and
it was freezing last night. And the wind was blowing 100 miles an hour.
My friend said I could always come over anytime I wanted, so I knew I had an open invitation, but he wasn't there, so we couldn't get in the main house. So we went into his trailer, and his side trailer or whatever. And I was hoping there was food in there, and there wasn't. It was like stale ramen, and so we're all really hungry. I got him water, but
everybody just coming in. Please hit the thumbs up. Hit them thumbs up, y'all. We are trying to grow this channel. We're trying to help find more kids. We're trying to find kids. We're trying to help people. We're trying to help people. Sorry about that. I'm working as hard as I can to find people. So please hit that thumbs up. Go back out or however you need to do. If you're on your phone, hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it most definitely.
They're hungry and they're under a blanket.
So where are they at?
Will you give them straight to Micah?
That's the plan.
Okay. Is there a way to get a guarantee?
You want me to get a detective back here to talk to you?
If that's
Thank you,
possible.
thank you.
Hang on just a second.
Thank y'all,
For the first
man.
time
Let's do
since the
this.
officers found Sam that evening, they
Hit them
seemed to have
thumbs up,
found a way
baby.
to get him to talk. Given the horrendous state in which they'd rescued the other two girls, it was truly a race against time to quickly find those poor children trapped in the red box before it was too late.
I'm Mark Gower. I'm the sheriff of the county.
Yeah.
What are you looking for from us?
Okay, so basically, I totally want to cooperate, and I want the girls
That would
to
be
safe.
best right now.
Everything.
I'm going to pull some weeds out of your beard.
Okay. I want what's best for the girls, but because of my views of CPS and things like that, I really want them to go.
I have the same views you do.
I'd rather them go straight back into the custody of Micah, their mother.
That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
I guarantee it. I swear on my life.
Okay. Okay.
So will you tell us where they're at?
Yeah,
please?
they're in the Burl area. It's not in my friend's name. The land is. It's in some girl's name, but it's I can show you right where it's at. His name's.
Oh, I know where that's at.
Yeah. Okay. It's in the back trailer.
After what seemed like an eternity, Sam disclosed the whereabouts of the trailer where the other two girls were left. The officers discovered the pair in an abandoned single-wide mobile trailer. The place appeared to have been used for storage. Both girls, John's 8-year-old and Sam's 5-year-old, were discovered freezing, famished, and severely dehydrated. While all 4 girls were now safe, they'd been exposed to hours of sub-freezing temperatures and starvation.
Are you hungry? You just want to see your dad? Okay. You want your mommy? Okay. You guys thirsty?
I'm
You thirsty? Are you thirsty, sweetie? Cold? Are you, what's your name, sweetie? Elizabeth Richardson.
This isn't the girl's real name, but why would such a young child lie about their name? The answer will become shockingly apparent as the case unfolds.
This is, oh my God, this is getting real hard to look at, man. Why would you do? The part that's killing me is these are your kids. This is the dad of his own kids, and you are just, if you know it's cold outside, they twice as cold. They don't realize, oh my God. Let's keep going, let's keep going, let's keep going.
Elizabeth Richardson, that's a good name. Here we go. You guys want some water?
This is a
Are
shame.
you guys hungry or anything? Here, I'll open it up for you. Hey, look what I found you guys. I found a stuffed animal. Do you guys want to play with that? That's my friend, Mr. Panda. Are you feeling okay, sweetie?
We were
Yeah.
in our room.
In your room? It's really cold in there, though.
We were on the.
I know we probably scared you, huh? I'm sorry. We didn't know where you're at. We've been trying to find you guys all day. We're scared because there's no adult here. We want to make sure you're okay. So, and that trailer was locked, and so we couldn't get in. So we had to climb through the window. That's pretty wild, huh? Hey, you guys want to see something cool? Check these out. Oh, these are really cool. If they work. Oh, come on. There they go. It's starting to glow a little bit. See that? It's called a glow stick. Super cool, huh? If they work. Oh, come on. There they go. Do you guys want a piece of pizza? We have some pizza. Do you like pizza? Here. Yeah? Pizza. 2 pieces. Okay, we'll get you guys some pizza, okay? Huh? You want a piece of pizza? Okay, we're working on that, sweetheart, okay? But we just want to make sure you guys are okay.
Once the medics assessed the girls, they were immediately rushed to the hospital for hypothermia treatment. One of Sam's daughters even had to be transported to a children's hospital via life flight due to her critical condition. Now it was finally time to question Sam Schaefer and get to the bottom of this unbelievable case. As shocking as everything was that had already happened, the true horror of what occurred on that compound has yet to be revealed. What may at first seem to be a disturbing parental dispute over custody would soon reveal itself to be one of the worst cases Utah has ever uncovered. Investigators will be horrified to find out that the cult John started was actually far more sickening than anyone could have ever imagined. You see, there's a twisted reason the girls were hidden.
The time came when Micah was threatening him, I guess, that she's going to take the kids, never let him see them, that she's going to change every agreement they've ever had about just, you name it, schooling, they're taught what they can watch. Just she basically went against her rebelled against everything they'd ever agreed upon. And it was, she wanted to take him, never let him see him, and raise him how she wanted. And John said, he's not going to have that. And so essentially what happened was one day John says, we're going to go leave and start a new life. And his parents agreed. I was his friend at the time. We got a hotel first, and then we thought we'd build some money to get a place. So we camped for a while, and then we got containers, and then we were going to build another place. And it was pretty archaic, but he also wanted to stay away from Micah because of what she threatened. So we were just coping with it until we got more money to get better houses. Agreed to go along with him because by then I saw him as a religious leader, and as far as I knew, he had custody rights to do that. It's a little matter as far as I was concerned.
Sam glosses over the irony of how John took the kids from Micah in order to prevent her taking the kids from him. It's likely that Sam justified this decision in his mind because he saw John as the leader of their religion, so his authority trumped Micah's. With their timeline now established, the detectives try to find out more about the Knights of the Crystal Blade, an order that, according to their binder, symbolized a body of godly men.
Your guys' religion, he says it's kind of off of an LDS? Or?
Yeah, it's, I think there might be a few additional things besides, obviously the main church teaches, but the main drive of it's definitely LDS, yeah, for sure.
I was just kind of curious what kind of some of your beliefs were.
John started getting these interesting insights about like the Beatitudes and things that he started sharing with us, which were new but really profound, which is really what got us talking about the work and things like that. For instance, one is thank God for not just your blessings, but also for your hardships and your trials, that everything's, God's hand is in all things, and so you should want whatever he wants. You should thank him for bad things that happen. You should thank him for the bad things that happen so that you learn.
Trials in your life, right?
What's that?
Like your trials in your life.
Right. You should thank him for those too, because it teaches you something. He wants you to make a bad situation turn better, things like that. There's also one we believe that most will see God as this high and mighty person looks down on us, whereas John receives somehow that God actually looks at us very humbly. He knows that if he was in our circumstances, he makes many of the same mistakes, and he looks on us from like a parent, knowing what you're going through.
How do you believe, or what do you think about the polygamy part of the FLDS? Is that something you...
We believe in the Old Testament. I don't think there's anything inherently morally wrong with it. But that's probably saying, I don't know, maybe I should ask a lawyer or something. Polygamy is actually not ideal. It's usually done if women need a husband. Like, I don't think it should be like all these guys in the fundamentalist community all just trying to grab as many wives as they can. For one thing, that's not sustainable from a demographics point of view. So I think when there's a woman that needs a husband, then I don't care if someone's divorced.
Who all was involved? Who all was with you? It was you and John, and who else?
Me and John and Kathy and Sam with 4 adults, and then we had 6 kids.
So describe that relationship. What do you mean by they were with you and the girls were with who?
Our job, and just supporting John, was to be the servant.
Okay.
Basically be a servant to him.
Okay.
The boys were John's boys.
Okay.
So we took the boys and we took care of them and did everything for them and fed them and so forth. We bought all of our food as a group together and stuff though. And a lot of that food was bought through they call them food stamps. Sam was on food stamps. He had his 2 kids. He had custody of them.
Keith seems to have no problem admitting that his job in the cult was to be a servant to John, demonstrating the level of power that John has over his father. It's possible that it's easier for Keith to believe John is a prophet receiving revelations about the apocalypse, rather than accept the alternative that he's just using his parents for money.
What was the long-term goal for this new order?
That we would go to the desert and the Lord would tell us where to go, and then things would start coming down around us and we'd be away from all the destruction and everything. And eventually we'd go to the Rocky Mountains and then walk to 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞 and all that stuff. It's like over a long period of time.
Was the intent to get off the grid?
The intent was to save our lives.
Well, I understand that, but you mentioned something about being off the grid.
Well, yeah, that's what we tried to do. I mean, he bought those solar things.
Wow, that's crazy.
We have the internet.
Catherine admits that although she was told they had to get off the grid to protect themselves from the apocalypse, John actually continued to use the internet on the compound. This is the detective's first hint that there might be a deeper, darker reason that John brought everyone to the middle of the desert. While everything they had learned about the cult so far had been shocking and appalling, nothing could have prepared them for the stomach-churning truth they were getting closer and closer to uncovering.
Tell me about John's parents real quick.
They listened to John's revelations and different inspiration he had, and they felt a good spirit about it, and they decided that they agreed with their son. They wanted to help him, and they didn't like Micah, of course. And I think it just kind of went from there. It just kind of came along, I guess you could say.
So how did they end up with the boys?
Really out of control, and John couldn't take care of the girls and him at the same time, like he'll just do. He's uncontrollable.
What do you mean?
I'm sure John can tell you all the horror stories unless he doesn't want to, but one time he poured like water down light sockets. He's poured oil on the bed. He's rowdy. He says random stuff. He's uncontrollable.
So he left the 2 boys with his parents?
Yeah, because it was kind of evened out everything, made it so that things were quieter, I guess, for him.
Sam is insistent that John's son is completely uncontrollable, which is why he was sent off to be taken care of by John's parents, while John and Sam focused on raising the girls. This is not the true reason, and the truth is more horrifying than you can imagine. As well, it's important to note that the child may have been acting out as a result of his turbulent home environment.
So what was kind of the sleeping arrangements out there? There was a tent or something. Is that where you were staying? Or?
A tent?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean out in the sand pit?
Yeah.
No, that was just a temporary thing for the fun of it. The other night it was really clear, so I put it up. But most of the time we're in the containers.
Who's in what containers?
Is that?
Containers?
Oh, yeah. Is that something I need a lawyer for, you think?
That's totally up to you. If you don't want to answer that question, you don't have to. I'm just kind of curious.
Though Sam has mentioned getting a lawyer, he hasn't unequivocally stated that he wants one, which means that the interrogation can continue. In order to invoke your right to an attorney, you must clearly state that you want one present.
I noticed there was the one in the middle, thinking that might be yours.
Oh, you mean the big long one?
Trying to remember. Yeah, it would have been the longer one. The one in the middle that runs. And then you have the 2 on the sides.
Yeah.
That one's yours?
The one on the side is mine. The long one's John's.
And you've only been out there since September, huh? Mm-hmm. So not too long, have you?
No, but we were planning on building that place and we got some money together. So.
Where did the girls stay and the boys out there?
I'd probably let the lawyer talk about that.
What haven't we talked about? But say, get your side of things, and you've been pretty cooperative, I think, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
With Sam's reluctance to answer this question without a lawyer, it becomes undeniable that there's something the detectives aren't being told, and it's only a matter of time until they find out what it is. It was a very smart move by the officer to ask if there's anything they haven't talked about, since it skirts the issue of the touchy question while still getting Sam to talk to them and give them information.
What caused you to take off yesterday, then?
Well, I still thought he had custody, and he asked me to keep him.
You just mentioned that you said that he asked you to make sure that
they no one took him, and that I kept him.
Did you get word or something that somebody was looking for him or something?
Well, the weird thing was, first John was arrested. I didn't know why. Then the cops showed up at our place, and I decided to go with the kids because John asked me to, but I didn't know why on that either. And then I wanted to come back not only to find out what was really happening, but also to help the other two girls that I felt I couldn't help because I thought someone was following me. But let me put it this way. I knew I had to come back to help them if they needed help. I thought they'd been gotten, I thought they'd been picked up by the police. I didn't think there was a problem, but I want to make sure I couldn't live with myself if something happened to them. So I started running back for that, number one. Number two, I just want to know what the heck's going on. Why are the cops involved? I didn't know. And when I was taken in today, he says, he's told me John doesn't have any legal custody. And I said, first time I've heard of it.
Just like with Keith and Catherine, Sam is insistent that they couldn't have done anything wrong by taking and hiding the girls, because as far as he was concerned, John had full custody of them. He also conveniently leaves out an important detail about John's arrest at the 𝗗𝗢𝗡's home.
So when they left on Friday, it was John and Sam and who that left?
When they left Saturday?
Yeah. Well, when they left Friday, you said they went to your old place.
Oh, they took the girls with them.
So all four girls were with them when they left.
All four girls were with them in the Suburban.
However, Police Chief Clark Christensen was told by John that the girls weren't with him, and he refused to say where they were. Not only did Sam purposefully deceive the police when he hid from Clark during John's arrest, but he's continuing to be deceitful in his interview by not mentioning that he and John had the girls with them.
So where were the girls at that you were going back to help with?
The ones in the blue barrel.
Tell me about that. What happened there?
I didn't know where to go or what to do at first. So I thought, I'm just going to keep the girls warm. So I wrapped them in the foam and put them in the bucket. And I was going to come back for them maybe 10 minutes later. I didn't know where I was going. But then when I started taking the other two girls first, every time I looked behind me, I saw this dark figure. I was going to come right back for them, but someone kept following me. Maybe it was paranoia or what, it was a tense situation, but I could have swore that I was being followed for a good few miles.
What did you tell those girls to do?
I just said to be quiet and let's walk, basically.
No, you're the other two.
Oh, the other guy just said be quiet and I'll come back. And then I felt horrible when it took all the way till morning to get the other girls in a blanket, given water, just the basics. I was way over my head.
Okay, he's the one that owns that property?
Yeah.
So he wasn't there, or was he there?
No, he wasn't there, and that was an issue. If he was there, they would have had a fire, good food, everything. But since he wasn't there, the only thing I could do is open his storage, trailer, and get him under a blanket. And I also, that's where this was from. I checked the food, and it was all stale. And I was realizing by then it was already afternoon, and the other two girls were stuck in the barrel. So I was like, what the hell am I going to do? I was so scared. I figured they'd been found. But just in case they hadn't been, I was really scared for them. So I started booking it back. And that's when I got it.
It certainly is odd that despite being too nervous to even describe the sleeping arrangements at the compound, Sam is more than happy to casually talk about stuffing two girls into barrels, one of which was his own daughter. He shows zero empathy for what it must have been like for the girls to be trapped in such a small space for so long, with no food or access to a bathroom.
What made you decide to leave those two in the barrels?
They go good together, I guess.
They're good friends?
Yeah, they're good friends, yeah.
Sam takes a long pause before answering the question, making it clear that he doesn't want to respond. It seems he may be hiding the true reason that those two were selected to be put into the barrels.
So you understand, your oldest daughter, what's her name? She's just not doing too good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they ended up having to carry her in the hospital. She's just real weak, and a lot of them aren't doing very good, being out in the cold like that.
Yeah.
You understand the severity of that?
Yeah, I do. I only did it because I thought it was a situation, but it went way over my head. And I accept the
That's
responsibility.
what could happen if something happened to him, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd be held for manslaughter probably or something, right?
Yeah, it'd be pretty bad.
I would feel terrible about it. I'd accept responsibility for it. If that happened, I'm totally open on that topic. I went way over my head. I know I did.
Sam's reaction to finding out one of his children had to be hospitalized comes across as callous. He appears to be unconcerned and doesn't even ask any follow-up questions regarding her well-being. While this might be the detective's first time encountering this colder side of Sam, Keith and Catherine have become very familiar with it.
And then the week before that, they very subtly made the statement that anybody that left would be killed.
Did they,
in fact,
follow that up with a threat other than be killed? Or tell you how you'd be
well,
killed?
they basically did. In fact, one day, it's U-shaped out there. I don't know if you've seen it. We have a little kind of courtyard there. So the kids are supposed to stay in that courtyard, and if a helicopter or somebody came over, they were supposed to run inside the trailers. One day, one of the kids, I stepped out of that corridor area, which was okay, but one of the boys followed me, and Sam blew up, and he mentioned something about killing us or killing me. Yeah, if I cause them to find something else.
So how long ago was that?
2 weeks ago.
While it's likely that John manipulated his parents and exploited them for money, it's important to keep in mind that Keith and his wife are adults. They also had a responsibility to keep their grandchildren safe, and instead, they appear to have ignored major warning signs about John. In fact, throughout his interview, Keith appears to be more concerned with his current financial situation rather than the safety of any of his grandchildren. Between the death threats, the living conditions, and the brainwashing, it's clear that life on John's compound was a nightmare. But unfortunately, the cult had an even deeper secret, one that Micah finally warns the detectives about.
Like, I'm glad you going back there, and he turns around and goes, "Are you glad to not be Sam's wife anymore?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "They got married." I'm like, "They got married?" I'm like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "Well, they sleep together." And I said, how did they sleep? And he's like, "Well, I slept in the container with and Grandma and Grandpa, and then John slept in the container." "Did they call them their wives?" He goes, "Yeah, he called them their wives and they kissed them." And I said, "Where?" He goes, "On the lips."
Hey, okay. When you said it a couple more times, it won't be so hard. Just finish this story. This is your opportunity.
I was confused why Sam had the younger girls away from the older ones. And then the one time, this is why they were going by different names. The younger ones were, but the older ones were.
They gave them new last names and gave them their middle names.
Hospital, they tried to go by Elizabeth Richards.
What's your name, sweetie? Elizabeth Richardson. That's a good name.
With this dark revelation, several missing pieces of the puzzle finally slot into place. It explains why Sam was nervous to talk about the sleeping arrangements on the compound. It's common for predators to choose a victim who either already is isolated or one who can be easily isolated, such as Sam and John separating the older girls from the other children. The goal of a predator is to minimize their risk of getting caught. The less people the child has to talk to, the less likely it is that they'll report. This information also answers many questions about John and Micah's relationship. Their disturbing age gap is now clearly evidence that John has a history of pursuing minors. Additionally, it's also common for predators to have antisocial personality disorder, particularly since it often takes an extreme lack of empathy, failure to abide by lawful behavior, impulsivity, aggressiveness, and lack of remorse. With this new disturbing information in mind, the detectives try to find out just how far his and John's marriage with the children went.
John and Sam made this agreement to betroth each other's daughter to them for when they're older, and they're of consenting age, that they would actually consummate a marriage with them.
When did they do that?
They did it before we even left, and Keith and I said, no, sorry, that's not right. And they said, okay, Mom, we've got this revelation that this is to happen. It's what they did in the scriptures, but the Lord will take our lives if we consummate the marriage before they're of consenting age. And I said, when is that? And they said, about 10 years from now. And I thought, okay, they'll be 18. Sam and John were so strict about everything. I mean, they really believed this religion that I didn't worry. And I said, okay, so what happens? Are you just promising when you're older you'll get together or what? And they said, they'll live with our family and we'll be like a father to them until that age. And I said, okay. Basically, everywhere we went, Sam had in the tent. And John had his daughter in the tent and became a mother. I mean, everything looked right. They were happy. I didn't see anything wrong. And I believed John. I mean, I honestly, if Keith or I would have thought that they were going to do something to those girls, we told them we would shoot them ourselves. But we believed that they believed so strongly in this that they would not do anything to these girls. And so I look back on that now, and I think, especially after Sam taking off with the girls, we weren't comfortable with it, but we accepted it because of all these revelations John was getting. And by then, we were in so deep financially. We said, how are we going to afford the payments on this? And he says, well, the grid's going to fall down. You make until it goes down. And we thought, well, you know, we weren't comfortable with it, but we thought, okay, well, he's in charge.
While Catherine is insistent that she and Keith would have shot John and Sam if anything happened to the girls, if she had truly believed nothing was going to happen, then she wouldn't have felt the need to make the threat in the first place.
When they betrothed each other's daughter.
Yeah, that's the same thing I was thinking. Why even make that threat? This is your son.
If you're going to make that threat, then you obviously know that something's going on, don't you?
Yeah. Hey, Murph. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Hey, Murph.
Hey, lovely. How are you?
I'm
how you
letting
doing?
y'all know. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. He asked a question and I didn't even allow you to answer. Go ahead. How you doing?
How you
Stephanie?
doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing?
I am doing great, and I'm chilling out tonight, baby. I'm chilling out because Miss Tiny, look, Miss Tiny done changed her beautiful picture. You go, girl. I see you. You think I didn't notice? You thought I didn't notice you, Miss Tiny. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
First, did they actually have a ceremony? And
not with us around. I think they did probably on their own where they knelt and prayed or something like that, but we weren't.
But as far as you know, they had actually married, or you didn't know that?
No, just see, that's what I kept asking John. What's the difference if you're married, you consummate a marriage, and you're not going to consummate it and ask the girl's permission until they're 18? And he said, that's right, but it's like in the Old Testament where you give your daughter and then, you know, they live in your household and stuff until...
It's like a pledge.
It's a pledge. But the girls started calling themselves wives in the camp, and that really bothered me.
You see, John's oldest daughter, then 8 years old, started referring to herself as Sam's wife, while Sam's daughter, then 7 years old, said she was John's wife. But as horrifying as this is, it's only the beginning of the shocking revelations.
I still believed John. The girls were happy. I didn't see any signs of anything wrong. We never viewed anything inappropriate.
Speaking of that, did you ever see them being affectionate with each other?
Everybody was affectionate. We were like a family, so nothing more than usual we'd all tell each other, I love you, you know, and stuff, but nothing that would make me think that there was anything. I mean, the girls, I've been around girls that have been.
Right. Have you ever seen with Sam and think that as a grandmother, as a woman,
Yeah.
and think something is just not right. Maybe it's questioning that maybe they're not having, but what they're doing is just not right.
Yeah.
What did you see?
Just him oohing over her.
Like how?
Just spending a lot of time with her, and we brought it up to John and Sam and said, this is not going to happen. And she got a revelation saying it was inappropriate, so they stopped. In the camp, you have to understand that we were trying to be a Zion people and love each other and stuff, so we never thought it out of place. I mean, they never got intimate or affectionate or anything like
So
that.
you never yes him?
Oh, no.
You never seen him touch her or she touched him?
I've seen there was touching like on the shoulder or something, and we would kneel to pray, and they held hands when we had the sacrament. And I thought, okay, well, you know, they're betrothed to each other, but I honestly never believed that they would do anything, ever.
Catherine is giving inconsistent statements. She may be purposefully withholding information to avoid getting in trouble. As we saw earlier, Catherine was very concerned about getting arrested, so she's evidently worried about any repercussions she might face. It's also possible that while she did notice that things with John, Sam, and the girl seemed wrong, she pushed those concerns away because it was easier to take the path of least resistance. It was likely very difficult for her to believe that her son would hurt a child, so she simply chose to believe that he wasn't. Her inconsistent statements in the interview may be a reflection of her own doubts. Unfortunately, if Catherine saw Sam doing something disturbing and abhorrent with his so-called wife, then it's likely that John was being just as reprehensible with his.
They made an agreement that they would give their daughters to them, so that when they reached the age of consent, they could marry them. And so that was the agreement. They assured us that there was nothing going on, so I'm hoping that's still the case. They made a promise that there would not be any relations at all, or whatever. They would basically raise them as their daughters, and then when they became of age, then they would marry them.
Of what age?
The age of consent. I don't know what that would be. My guess is puberty when they're able to marry.
Notice how when Keith talks about the marriage arrangement and the age of consent, he places a lot of distance between himself and the officers by sitting and leaning into the corner as he talks. It's almost as if he's trying to distance himself from the topic because he knows deep down how bad this arrangement really is and how the officers may be viewing him.
And I'm referring to when you were out here at your compound in Lund.
We had Kathy and I had a tent, and the boys and Kathy and I were in one tent. The boys slept in their beds together with their sleeping bags, and Kathy and I used our mattress. We bought our mattress from us.
In the tents or in the Connex shed?
Put them in the sheds too. You know, we brought up every room we went. We brought all that stuff along. We had to take 2 trips, so usually slept with in John's tent.
Just the 3 of them?
Let's see, did he have the person that was promised to him by Sam? Just the 2 of them, yeah.
So when did they make that arrangement between them?
They made that arrangement and that agreement in the beginning when this whole thing started.
So
they promised us that everything would be on the up and up. There would be no problems.
Right, and I don't know.
We had no reason to mistrust it. We did.
But the beginning being what? What time? What month? What time? What year?
We found out that they had made that commitment. It would have been in July.
You told me that you're very much understood that there was going to be no going on between them or anything like that.
They made that
future plan, right?
to us that we know nothing going on that would be wrong.
Right. And just like the other promise, did you see something that was inappropriate ever that made you feel like, wait a minute, I'm not dumb?
We never went into the tents. We never went into the facilities that they were staying in. We knew that the girls had their own bed in there and he had his bed. And there was never any indication from the girls. They were happy. The kids were having fun together. They thought this was a great adventure. And so we thought that everything was on the up and up, that John wasn't doing anything wrong and Sam wasn't doing anything wrong. They were keeping their commitment to wait till these girls become the age of consent, before they would consummate the marriage. And that's the way we left it.
Keith justifies his lack of action by saying that the girls were happy and made no indication that they were being, essentially putting all of the blame on the 2 victims. Additionally, these girls have been extensively brainwashed by John and Sam and have been isolated from society. With these factors in mind, making any conclusions about their behaviors is not a good way of determining whether or not they're being.
You're a grandfather, these are your grandkids, right? As a man, is any of that inappropriate? For what was going on, is that inappropriate? I know you have a religious belief, but let's set that aside for 1 second and think as a grandpa and knowing that your granddaughter is in a tent with Sam, who you already don't trust. Do you think anything ever happened that was inappropriate?
I had no reason to mistrust him at the time.
Well, now that you look back.
Now that I look back, I mean, the whole thing is just, it's just really.
Were they ever more touchy-feely than a normal situation? I mean, yeah, she's promised to him in the future, but in the interim now, was there any cuddling, kissing, touching, sitting on his lap, anything?
Yeah, it was that kind of stuff around the campfires. And we sit in his lap or sit in the chair.
Acting like they were already husband and wife?
Even though to a degree you could say that. Yeah.
Well, so when I refer to inappropriate, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you watched them have sex or that you knew they were having sex. I want to know from your point of view as a grandpa, as a male, and that being your granddaughter, did you ever see something that just didn't sit right?
Yeah, I guess I did see it.
Did they kiss?
Agree. Say you gonna sit there and lie. You know you saw it and you turned your back. Hey, y'all hit that thumbs up, man. We trying to save kids. We're trying to help people. Hit that thumbs up so more people come in, more people be aware. We're trying to spread awareness and everything. So please, please hit that thumbs up. There's a lot of us in here and there's a lot of non-thumbs up. Hit a thumbs up, hit a thumbs up. Appreciate it, appreciate it. All right, let's continue. Let's continue.
I saw Sam.
Like how?
But there wasn't. She would be sitting on his lap or sitting next to him. They'd bring dinner over, whatever, and she'd kiss him or he'd kiss her. Just a peck. There was no embracing kind of thing like that. But here again, we've known these kids since they were born, and if I thought there was something wrong with Sam, I would think she would have said something. Everything seemed to be okay, so we assumed they were keeping their commitment.
When somebody's pure to their convictions, like a religion or just your normal way of life, you don't see it in that way.
Yeah.
Right? If she doesn't think that's inappropriate, she's not going to know enough to tell you that it is. You committed to John. You're going to support him. You're going to be his father. You are. He was born to
Well, and we agree with the religious beliefs when you look at the scriptures and stuff. That you find marriages like kings had marriages of girls 5 and 6 years old, and the teenagers. I mean, married the mother of Jesus was 13. So
and that's why I said I'm not here to judge or to argue any of that.
And so we never had a problem with that principle. The problem we had was the girls were 8 and 7 years old, and we made sure that they made a commitment to us that there was going to be nothing going on untoward.
Right.
And then we accepted that. The girls seemed to be happy. We didn't see anything.
I know the times that I went in to check on the girls, they slept in the bed together. So I don't know. We just never believed that they were in danger. Period.
And you didn't believe that because you trusted these guys?
Mm-hmm.
Forget the Bible. Well, I can't say that. Let me rephrase it. I understand they can find scriptures in the Bible that says young age for marriage or whatever. But what about the law? In a state of country, what about what the law says? Isn't it against the law to marry or try to 6, 7, 8, and 9? That's crazy. You're breaking the law.
It's forget breaking the law. What about morals?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Forget the law for a second. I know that it's against the law, and you're 100% correct.
Right. You're talking about 4 lunatics. You got the mother and father that's sitting there talking to the police, and these 2 guys.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a cult.
Out of y'all 4, y'all can't get a real brain together. All right, here we go.
Sam and John were both willing to kill anyone who left the compound. Is it really so hard to believe that they would be willing to hurt a child?
Now, maybe your own son, you know better, but do you really think that Sam is the person you thought he was?
Probably not.
I told you about how the girls were found, right?
Yeah.
You said it was really cold last night. A big dust storm. Two of those girls stayed in a barrel out in the field overnight for 24 hours by themselves.
In a barrel?
In
Okay.
a plastic barrel.
Okay. And
that was at the hands of Sam.
Yeah.
So this guy isn't probably who you thought he was.
Of course.
Because you didn't think he would hurt them.
No. And my son John would not have condoned that. I don't
think
believe
so either. I don't know that any father would with their own daughter, right? But I'll tell you that
because John wasn't there, I think Sam got scared and he just
at the expense of
I
their
think
lives.
he felt he was doing John a favor by protecting the girls.
Protecting what girls, though? Because he left one of his and your granddaughter in the barrel.
Yeah.
And took the other two with him.
I have no idea because I never dreamed that Sam would do that. He was second after John in this order to take care of everything. And then we find ourselves left this morning and the granddaughters are gone, his daughters are gone.
So why didn't you report it first thing when you noticed it? You said that. You said Keith told you when you called the authorities.
Because
what was
we were
the hang-up?
scared.
Scared of what?
We wanted to make sure that Sam wasn't here because he has threatened to shoot us if we go AWOL.
Catherine's reply of okay when she's informed that two of the girls had been left in a barrel all night is a huge red flag. When someone's being interrogated and they fail to show an appropriate level of concern for the situation, detectives interpret this behavior as a possible indication of deception. Catherine doesn't even seem surprised when she's told. In fact, she doesn't even ask if the children are okay. She then goes on to defend Sam's actions by saying he was just trying to do what John would have wanted. Her complete lack of care and empathy is truly appalling. Having learned what they could from Keith and Catherine, it was time for detectives to confront Sam. And things soon take a turn for the even more horrifying.
You know, I've been hearing some really off-the-wall stuff, you know, as far as some things that's been going on. You know, that's one reason why I wanted to get your side of the story.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just things from Mike and things that, I mean, they're way out there, I think.
Oh, well, Mike is not a reliable source, but talks about way above and beyond anything we believe.
Though Sam says Micah isn't a reliable source, she's actually named in the Knights of the Crystal Blade binder. One excerpt reads, "The only financial power thy enemies have in these times to hurt this work is by putting thy family in a situation that would prompt Micah Ariel Coltharp to rebel against thee."
I mean, like, we heard stuff like being pregnant and stuff like that.
How could you be pregnant if she's only 8?
Well, right.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, they're way out there.
No, that's ridiculous.
There's stuff there that, I mean, why would she say stuff like that? What?
I don't know to what degree. I should have a lawyer, but that's way off in left field. Yeah.
Well, I kind of thought that too. That's why, That's why I wanted you to give me your side of things.
Well, I also don't know to what degree thinks about certain things or to what degree exactly the line is or whatever. It's way over here, though. It's not what she's saying.
What about, have you been betrothed to anybody? Do you believe in that? Or?
Would you say I need a lawyer to say yes?
No, I mean, it's not against the law.
Yeah,
I was just wondering if that was something.
It's way more on that side of it than what Mike saying.
Once again, Sam mentions a lawyer, but he doesn't unequivocally request one. And so the interrogation continues.
Is there things going on between that maybe John's doing that Mike is thinking maybe you're involved just because John's doing it? Or is John doing stuff with the kids that they're concerned?
I don't think anything like that. Okay, so we do believe in betrothal. I mean, the whole ancient world does. I mean, Arabs to this day do. I'd say that when you get betrothed to somebody, I'll just say this, that you should start to be the one that's the spiritual teacher that takes care of them so that they look up to you, that they start to be attached to. I think that's true with any community.
Now that he knows the police are aware he was betrothed to an 8-year-old, Sam is starting to scramble for an explanation.
they're giving exams, if there's going to be any sign of anything?
I don't think so. One thing is just from a medical standpoint, not doing anything down there, but you do check them when you make any kind of agreement, even in the Old Testament. I don't know why she does not have a hymen, but it's either genetic or it got broken somehow early on, but it was before John got her, just so you know that. When we very first made the agreement and we checked her, she didn't have one for some reason. So, and I don't know why.
Who did that? Like in a doctor's office?
No, I did it.
They did it?
Just because she's my daughter and I just checked quick. You know, I wasn't doing anything down there. I don't know if you have to be a doctor to do that legally or not, and hopefully I didn't just confess to something, but it was just for the reason of checking.
How did you know about? Not most guys know what, even what a hymen is.
I never seen one before I checked my girls, but I looked it up online, and so I could tell what it was.
Did you catch that? It may have been a slip of the tongue, but Sam said my girls, insinuating that he checked both girls. Not only is this horrific for a 7-year-old to go through, but his other daughter is only 4 years old.
I just did my research. It's pretty close up. It's fleshy. You could, I just looked on it with Wikipedia. So.
John's perverted obsession with purity is further elaborated in the Knights of the Crystal Blade Binder, where he states, "If these laws of purity and purification are obeyed by he who takes her, and she endureth, she shall be appointed unto him by my servant." Moreover, the document is filled with definitions of defiled women and how they can be cleansed by their husbands. His casual discussion with the detective of how he looked for images of hymens online in order to evaluate his daughter shows that he feels this is all okay and normal. There are also some signs of possible deception throughout his answer, as when he's asked if there would be any sign of on the girls, Samuel responds with, "I don't think so." This is an example of a qualification phrase often used by deceptive individuals. This type of non-committal response allows the person to later change their answer if needed. For instance, if signs of on the girls are discovered, Sam can then claim that he just didn't know. Additionally, notice how when talking about examining his daughter, he first says, "You do check them," in order to put some distance between himself and the behavior before swapping to, "We check them," in order to share the blame with John. He finally admits that he was the one who checked his daughter after being directly asked, and he doesn't appear to recognize how inappropriate his behavior was, instead attempting to justify it.
Well, it says right in the Old Testament you have to. It's a religious thing.
This is what John wrote in the binder about it. "The marriage of a maiden is most pleasing unto me, as I delight in chastity, and it will become the only form of marriage in the millennium when my people are redeemed. Then it is also expedient that I reveal unto thee the preciousness of virginity also."
And then the guy can say, "I don't want to go through with that," or "I do," or...
So you're checking to see if there was one, if she had a hymen before she went this betrothal.
Right, because then you could say, "Oh, well, maybe she's not a virgin, so I don't want her." John still wanted to do the agreement, so.
How does that work? I'm just curious.
So basically what you do is, if you say, I'm interested in someone's daughter, then you go to the father, and you make an agreement. That is what the wife price will be, or if there will be one or not. Check the hymen, make sure there is one or not, and then see if you still want to go through with it.
He knows that the authorities are going to check his daughter for signs of it, and he may believe that by claiming she never had a hymen in the first place, then he may be protecting John from allegations.
Did you check to make sure he was being honest about it, or?
Is that?
What do you say? You say something, Murph?
Yeah, I was just saying, who cares if she had a hymen or not?
What is that? What is that? I don't even know what that is.
A hymen. The hymen it means that you can get pregnant.
Oh, okay. God dang! I knew they were checking for something for when you're a baby. You can check? Where you check that at?
Exactly. And but let's say they found some scientific way of checking whether one's got a hymen or not. How does that make a difference?
Yeah. I don't know. Y'all got. I'm confused on that one all the way, man. So here we go.
That's probably something I'd talk somewhere about, right?
That's up to you. I was just curious how that works. I mean, how do you trust? I mean, I know you.
Yeah, I trust the word of somebody
You
else.
trust John, but how do you know that he
Told me the truth.
told you the truth about her hymen?
Good question. Yeah. In my mind, our relationship was wonderful, above board.
Sam's reluctance to answer this question is a huge red flag. If the answer were no, he should have no problem saying that. However, if he did check John's daughter, he may be hesitant to admit doing so to avoid getting into trouble. Additionally, Sam uses another qualification phrase while answering the question by stating that, in his mind, his relationship with an 8-year-old child was above board. However, we already know that in his mind, things that are not acceptable are okay. So what other depraved parts of their relationship might be above board in his mind?
You got to get that out. The first thing you got to do is admit that you did something wrong. So
I think that none of the things I did, in my opinion, are wrong.
According to Sam, he was only following his leader John's orders, who said, "I reveal unto thee the preciousness of virginity also. For behold, when a righteous man takes unto himself a maiden, then their bond is made eternal by my word, and by their godly love." The detective is doing a great job here of appearing to be non-judgmental. This is providing the best opportunity for Sam to open up and reveal details that he might have kept to himself if the detective was confrontational.
But I also think there might be one or two things, also like when you came up with, I should talk to a lawyer about, because he knows exactly what the law says.
it's crossing the line.
Mm-hmm.
It would be against the law.
Except for doctors.
It's different though.
I actually think doctors checking him is crossing the line. I mean, I think that the definitions are already hazy, so I want to know exactly what it says. And I think that's fair, because I really didn't cross the line according to the scriptures, or our relationship was good. And I mean, I just want to know exactly what the law says. So if there is one or two things across the line, or if there isn't, because I had parental permission to do whatever, and it was just for whatever reason, I'd like to know that too.
Sam appears to think that John could legally give him permission to check his daughter's hymen, showing how in his mind he and John have all the power, and the effect this act has on the girls is completely irrelevant. He's also laughing and joking despite the severity of the topic at hand, likely sending off warning signals to the detective.
I think we're as above board as we could be. We looked at it from a spiritual standpoint.
So any concerns about John as far as
like doing other things?
Anything with any of the other kids?
Oh, other kids, like that weren't
appropriate, you know? Maybe?
No, not that I know of. I trust him. He had a great smile. They're perfectly fine kids, so I did not see a problem.
When asked if John may have been inappropriate with any of the children, Sam hesitates and says no before quickly changing his answer to "not that I know of." Again, this should be a very easy yes or no question for him, so it doesn't make sense that he's changing his answer to one that's non-committal.
I don't know if I need a lawyer to answer that.
Well, I just wondered if you slept in the same bed, you know? I mean, that's not against the law. As long as you're not doing something inappropriate.
Right.
Is that kind of what you guys did, or is part of the betrothal thing, or is that?
I should probably have a lawyer because I don't know the ins and outs of the law. I will say, we mix a lot of laundry together, and I'm sure something could be come up with that's not the case, if you know what I'm saying. She lived in my house, you know, we just hang foot, laundry.
Your DNA might be on some of her.
That's what I'm saying. Something could be extrapolated. If you take Micah's story and then the fact we lived together, you can pretty much know anything probably. Yeah, I think that's all I can say without a lawyer. If there's any nitty-gritty details in the law, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's your, you don't have to answer questions if you don't want. You know, I appreciate you, like I say, talking to me. And,
we weren't afraid to give him a hug and a kiss or say goodnight or normal, simple things like that clearly if the parent says it's okay, it's legal, but that's probably all I should say.
First and foremost, Sam mentioning the laundry once again reinforces the idea that he's trying to preemptively come up with excuses because he knows the police are going to find evidence of on the girls and in the storage containers. Sam also gives the detectives another red flag statement when he makes it sound as though this whole situation was legal because both fathers agreed to it. It's simply not true. If anything illegal was happening between these men and their daughters, then it would still be illegal, regardless if they gave each other permission. Chillingly, the Knights of the Crystal Blade Binder has a passage that reads, "The time is at hand even now when the hearts of the fathers shall begin turning unto the children, and the hearts of the children shall begin turning unto the fathers."
How do you know when it is time to consummate your marriage?
It really doesn't specify any revelation that I know about, but I do know that there's moral outlines that our society has. Right. I figured I'd cross that bridge when I came. But I won't say that I wouldn't have waited until at least 18. I know some states it's like 16 if the parent agrees or something, but I don't know. You know, all the legal mumbo jumbo, but I didn't start the agreement with the intention of breaking any laws.
I'll be straight with you. Have you ever been clear out by Santa?
Like as in not attracted to her?
Yeah. There's, you know what I mean by you're out.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I mean, I understand attraction, but that's maybe part of being out.
Obviously, when you look at someone you want to have a future marriage with, you think, oh, they look pretty. I don't know, is that illegal?
Sam admits here that he was attracted to an 8-year-old girl, and he seems to have no idea how wrong this is. He's only concerned about the legality of everything he and John have done to the children. Sam seems to have no empathy for how his and John's actions have traumatized the children. His failing to understand the simple questions asked regarding his attractions is an indication of deception, because he may be trying to buy himself extra time to consider what his response should be. Notice how he also reworded the questions to make it more socially acceptable to say yes. This was likely a deliberate attempt to avoid answering whether he was attracted to her or not. Telling a direct lie is very stressful, so individuals who are being deceptive will often try to evade the question.
Has any of the other kids been betrothed to anybody?
Not really. There was one idea in the future that didn't pan out.
Somebody else that kind of believes what you guys believe in?
Well, there was a guy, I don't know if he wants to be implicated by now, but he came around and he showed interest in the future. That is, like we'd make an agreement in the future. And then he decided he wasn't sure about it, so he did it,
The way Sam talks about a guy showing interest in being betrothed to his 4-year-old daughter paints a very disturbing picture. While Sam made it sound as though the marriage agreement with this man went nowhere, the grisly reality was much more different. In his interview with the FBI, this man, Robert Shane Rowe, shared that he started chatting with John on Facebook in late 2016 after being particularly interested in John's revelations. Influenced and intrigued by the nature of these revelations, Robert flew to Utah to meet with John and Sam on August 25, 2017, and spent 3 days with them. During their interaction, John informed Robert that he was the literal incarnation of John the Beloved. Apparently disappointed by what he called their crazy talk, Robert showed little interest in the church. However, the atmosphere changed drastically when both men threatened to take his life if he disclosed sensitive information to anyone. He further revealed how both John and Sam planned to lure their legal wives, including Micah, into the wilderness and shoot them, as they were trying to impede their access to the children. He shared that John and Sam forcefully baptized him into their church and offered a child bride, John's youngest daughter, to him. They asked him to check his bride's hymen to determine her purity, and according to him, forced him to spend the night with her. He swore that he never touched the child, returned to California the following morning, and never spoke with the duo again. While there are certain questions Sam has avoided, the detective has been able to gather crucial information about the case, much of which leads to the conclusion that John and Sam isolated their children in the middle of nowhere so that they could take advantage of them. Unfortunately, the only people who could confidently point a finger at the two men and say exactly what happened behind closed doors would be John and Sam's daughters. However, getting information from the children, as explained by one of the detectives, isn't as easy as just asking them what happened.
We have a question for you. We wanted to know if you possibly would consider re-interviewing the one person who's the plethora of information and willing to talk about anything, and that you just didn't ask the right question. You know everything. But we were informed by the girl that the blonde there at the Justice Center. She told us that probably would get thrown out, re-interviewing.
Well, I can call the prosecutor. Here's the problem that we have run into in the past. Sometimes if we conduct multiple interviews, from a defense standpoint, it makes us look like we're just continuing to ask the child question after question after question until we get the answers we're looking for. The whole purpose of what we call a FIT, it's a forensic interview technique, is to be very open with the child, and if the child's ready to talk, and we ask all the right questions, it's just a matter of are they willing to tell us at that time.
Did you ask him about himself or about his sister?
I asked him about everything I remember.
Oh, okay.
And we give them the opportunity to tell us without us leading them. And it's really, it's a good technique that helps us stay away from defense attorneys, because defense attorneys are always looking at, well, the cop, you know, he coerced or coached the child into saying this. And so it's a scripted thing that we read to the children, but it gives them the opportunity to tell us what they know. So coming back to all this, it would be my recommendations at this point, maybe that if we have to drive this, maybe give it a month, and then we could come up and re-interview him.
Okay.
Children tend to be more suggestible than adults, so detectives have to be extra careful with questioning to ensure that they aren't influencing the child. If they bring the child in for questioning a second time, it could lead the child to believe they gave the wrong answers the first time, so they need to answer differently in an attempt to please the adults. It can also be re-traumatizing to do a repeat interview. On the other hand, it's possible that a second interview with the same detective could allow the child to feel more comfortable, and therefore be more willing to open up, as they have already built up some rapport. The detectives also have some words of advice in case the children decide to open up to their mother.
You just be a listener. Make sure she's seeing a counselor, somebody that she can divulge this information to, then we can use that as evidence. Okay, if it's something that you talk to her about and extract from her, then, you know, give her more details than she would already be subjected to, then it's going to be hard for us to say, this is what happened then.
Well, let's say this a step further. So let's just say and she wants to talk about this. Children will talk when they're ready. Your children are not ready to talk to me or anybody else. We traded up interviewers today. We went from male to female, back and forth. But when they are ready, if and when, and you can have the same thing at Children's Justice Center, do a courtesy interview for us and send that to us. And we have 4 years from yesterday, to continue to build this case.
And we'll do it.
Although it took some time, eventually the 4 girls opened up about what they had been subjected to. It was revealed that not only had the 2 oldest girls been betrothed, but the younger girls, both 4 years old, were also betrothed to their own fathers. Following the children's admissions, Sam was charged with 2 counts of child sodomy, 1 count of child bigamy, 1 count of obstruction of justice, and 1 count of lewdness with a child. John was given similar charges, finding himself facing 1 count of child sodomy, 1 count of child kidnapping, 1 count of child bigamy, and 1 charge of obstruction of justice.
Has anyone threatened or coerced you into entering into an agreement with the state in this case?
Not in an illegal manner, no.
But are you telling me that you are voluntarily entering into that agreement, even if you don't love the terms?
Yes.
Okay.
Sam initially pleaded guilty. However, 2 months later, he tried to withdraw that guilty plea. According to Sam, he had been strong-armed by his lawyer into entering a guilty plea. He also claimed that while he was ready to confront a mental health issue that was making him act irrationally, he maintained his innocence for the crimes committed against the children. The judge rejected Sam's attempt to withdraw the plea. While Sam was trying to protest his innocence, John was doubling down. According to attorneys, plea negotiations with John were largely going nowhere, as the man was convinced his actions were sanctioned. John expressed no remorse for the pain and trauma he caused, instead stating that he was Jacob from the Old Testament and that he had been sent back to earth to promote child marriages. John eventually told the judge that he wanted to be his own attorney and stated there was a lot of truth in the charges brought against him. After making his admission of guilt in court, seemingly accidentally, he eventually pleaded guilty to the charges. Both John and Sam were eventually sentenced to 26 years to life in prison. The court also believed Keith and Catherine Ковтарп could have prevented this horrible act and protected the girls. As part of their sentences, Keith Kovtharp spent 48 hours in the Sanpete County Jail, and Catherine Kovtharp served 2 weeks of home confinement. They served 36 months probation and were asked to pay $25,000 restitution to the mother of the children. Unfortunately, life is still difficult for the children. According to Micah, her kids are grappling with the trauma they experienced living with their father. The boys told their mother that Sam would walk them miles into the woods before abandoning them. The children would have to retrace their footsteps to make it back to the compound. Micah also found that her children were so accustomed to the cold that she had to turn down the heat. This is because the compound, where the children lived for 3 months, had no electricity or running water. They were scared of the dark after spending so much time in it, and her sons had become conditioned to wear diapers to bed because it was too cold to go to the bathroom outside at night, and they wet the bed often. When they came home, the boys shied away from her girls. Micah later learned that Sam and John had separated the children because they saw their sons as competition and threatened to kill the boys if they contacted the girls. When John's 4-year-old daughter was told that her father was being sent to jail, she responded, "Can they just kill him?" Showing the extent of the damage done to these kids. Micah says they're getting a little better every day, and all we can do is hope that one day they're able to fully recover from the nightmare they were put through.
That's crazy, man. That is crazy. The thing that tripped me out is the parents, the grandparents. How in the world? How can you think that this is okay?
Yeah, it's just beyond. It's beyond words, really, isn't it?
That is not love for your child. Let me just say that is not love for your child when your child is doing something wrong and you just sit here and act like they're not doing something wrong. That is not love. Any parent that does that, you pick wrong over right when it comes to your child. You don't love your child.
No,
as difficult as it might be, you need to teach your child consequences for their actions, and sometimes they're wrong, they need to do consequences.
Steph, you've frozen, by the way, lovely.
Oh, am I? I've been fighting over here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're stuck in a rather interesting pose.
Oh Lord. I don't want to go out and end the stream, so I don't even know how to get out of here anymore. Just
yeah, you press end the stream. I can end you. Wait a minute. I think that's what happened. You press leave studio. Don't press leave studio if you see that.
Don't press leave studio.
Yeah. Press where your face at, remove yourself, I guess.
Okay. Well, am I still frozen?
No, we've got a black screen now.
Yeah, we got straight up black. Oh, dang. Well, you can stay. There you go. You good now.
All right.
Yeah. No, you frozen, but you at least your picture showing.
She needs to leave and come back in.
Yeah, but when you leave, you can't leave.
Oh no,
Uh-oh.
So let me.
Oh no. Anyway,
Oh yeah, she's back. Oh no, she's gone again.
Let me. I gotta add her. Yeah, I think giving her the permission. We're gonna try, Stephanie. We're gonna try another way to give you permissions. Like Tahir has. I think it's a monthly fee. I gotta look to see how Jump Desk. You said you got Windows. Stephanie, you got a Windows computer?
Yeah, I have Windows.
All right. Shoot.
I think it's my Wi-Fi is acting up too. So
Your Wi-Fi sucks.
More the Wi-Fi than it is.
Yeah, somebody told me to watch this Teresa's escape from brutal satanic cult. Somebody in the chat said this. I don't know if y'all want to watch that or y'all want to watch this. Wife finds a missing gift.
At some point, I think we should watch the Ruby, whatever her name is, one where the son escapes that I was talking about yesterday.
Oh, what video is that?
Do you want me to email it to you now?
Yeah, you can email it to me or send it on the Facebook chat. Yeah.
I'll send it on the Facebook chat. I'll go and find it now and I'll email it to you.
Okay.
Am I still frozen?
Yeah, you frozen. Good. Let me see something here.
All right.
So when
Am I still frozen?
No, you're not frozen now.
Okay. It's the internet, I think.
Yeah. You are not frozen, but you don't look good. You look a little pixel. Not you. Not you. You always beautiful, girl. You beautiful.
Does it look? The picture looks messed up.
Now you just froze at a big old Kool-Aid smile.
Oh God.
Yeah, you frozen with a big Kool-Aid smile. Oh, Murph. That's Stephanie's link. I thought somebody else sent the link. I'm sleepy, y'all. Huh?
Are you gonna go and get wine?
No, that's my lie. I'm sticking to it.
There's loads of different ones on here, and I don't know which one to send you.
All right, here we go. I was going. God dang it. It ain't come in. You send it on the admin talk on Facebook, or you haven't sent it yet?
No, I've not sent it yet.
Somi doesn't normally go through her husband's things, but this time she's gonna make an
This little girl right here, this is Rotten Mangoes, y'all. Wife found a missing girl torture tape. What's a torture tape on her husband's VHS camera? What?
exception. The house has been exceptionally cluttered recently, and she can't even think straight. She's gonna lose her mind in here. She wants to finish cleaning up the whole house before he gets home. Maybe they can eat dinner afterwards. She's gonna feel like a brand new person. That's the plan. This is a spring cleaning type of day. She's not just gonna wipe the counters. She's gonna get on all fours and dust underneath every single piece of furniture. She's gonna grab the junk drawers, dump them out on the table, and start reorganizing every little piece of junk in there. It is one of those cleaning type of days. Tomi's in the thick of putting things away. She's tried on 5 pairs of jeans from the back of her closet just to see if they still fit. She's sweating. She's drenched in sweat, labeling everything, running around. And then she comes across a stack of those old VHS tapes. Because before streaming services, there were CDs. And then before that, there were these VHS tapes. They're like big black blocks. Which is kind of cute. Maybe her husband is keeping them because, I don't know, they don't really watch VHS tapes anymore. But maybe it's one of his favorite childhood memories and he's just keeping it for nostalgia. Or maybe it's a video of him when he was younger, because you can basically vlog and put it on a VHS tape. She keeps rummaging around and ends up finding a VHS player. Oh, this is cute. She pops the VHS tape in, goes back to cleaning, because you have to wait for it to wind all the way back to the beginning. It's literally a tape, and then hits play. The video starts, and she freezes. She drops whatever's in her hand, and she's staring at the screen, kind of confused about how to feel about any of this. On the screen is her husband, aggressively, almost visually painfully ganking himself, self-pleasuring himself. It's very aggressive, and it feels illegal to watch her husband in such a... It's weird. She's never seen this before. And he's moaning a name, a woman's name she's never heard before. It's definitely not her name. It's not 𝗟𝗎𝗓. It's somebody else.
Is his face in there?
Yes. It's very disturbing. It's definitely going to be a big fight when he gets home. But she's trying to figure out when this tape is even from. Maybe it's from before they even got married. But even then, it's kind of a weird tape to have. Who records themselves doing something like this? It's a little odd.
Do we know when this was taking place?
2003.
And by then, VHS tape is not really around, right?
No. Most people have moved on to DVDs. Now she checks the time. It's a 20-minute long clip. The whole time, that's what he's doing, self-pleasuring until he reaches his destination. She rips the VHS tape out and inserts the next one. By this point, her heart is racing a little bit because is this going to be another video of him doing strange things? Is it going to be an introduction into the woman that he's calling out to? She pushes the tape and presses play. Laying on the bed are two bodies, her husband and another body laying next to him. There's these words written all over both of their naked bodies, like they're doodling on each other, or they were doodling on each other. The words read Prince and King.
Prince and King.
Yeah, all over the husband's body. The girl looks terrified. She's laying next to the husband with a giant long cut down her private area, and she's actively bleeding. She's trembling. And so is 𝗟𝗎𝗓. She's shaking by the time her husband in the video gets up, walks closer to the camera, and smiles, quote, "Oh, she tried to run away, so I had to teach her a lesson." He turns back to the girl and says, quote, "Endure it, even if it hurts." Then her husband walks over to the girl in the video and starts essaying her. 𝗟𝗎𝗓 does not recognize the other person in the video, at least not personally. This is not a family friend or anything like that, but she does know the girl's face. She's seen it before, all over missing posters in town. She's the little 8-year-old girl that had gone missing recently.
It was an 8-year-old girl?
8 years old.
God dang it. He might have cut that out. I had the music right there is what makes this
it's copyright.
Nonprofit that focuses on finding missing children, reducing child sexual acts, continue to snuff itself if you tease it on. It would very opinion said. It's kind of a
show.
I would love to get in touch with her.
NA Ranson. I would hear the producer get a letter from a man who should come to their own opinions. So with that being said, let's get into it. The producers of a famous Korean true crime show get a letter from a man who is in jail for essay and kidnapping, which is kind of odd to say the least. They usually cover crime stories, and more often than not, the producers are the ones reaching out to the prisoners, begging them, like, let me come see you and do an interview.
What's the show?
It's called Curious Why. Why would he reach out to want to share his story and have it broadcasted to the whole nation? It's a little weird. The man, Mr. NA, rants in his long-winded letter that this is all one big conspiracy misunderstanding, that if somebody just takes 2 seconds to read his letter, they would see just how corrupt the police are. It's not that difficult. Mr. Na states the police tricked him. The main detective working his case just wants a pat on the back for stopping another quote-unquote violent criminal, and they're steamrolling him, making him out to be this bad guy. So he's reached out to all these news networks. He's reaching out to human rights organizations because this is more than just about him. Whatever's going on in this police station is really dark. All of this happened because of his mother-in-law. His mother-in-law does not want him to be with her daughter, all because of love. So she accused him of kidnapping and essaying her precious daughter. He says in the letter, I love her. I really love her. If you look at our text messages between us, it's so clear that we love each other. The police are rather excessively separating us and putting all these strange charges on me. My wife is losing the man she loves. And from a woman's point of view, Her opinion has not been respected at all. And it's proceeding according to the detective's needs, the parents' needs. Where are a person's human rights? He states he didn't even know that she had an intellectual disability till later on. And because she looked like she could still live a very independent life, even though she was still living at home at the time, he thought, I mean, it's not really impacting her life. Why would I even notice? Why would she need to tell me? He argued she didn't feel comfortable talking about it in depth, so he didn't push her. Is that a sin? They were seriously dating for a while, but she confessed to him that her mom was terrifying. She was scared of her mom. Her mom was quite abusive, and she couldn't even be herself in her own home, and it was miserable, which is why the two of them decide, let's get married ASAP. Is that such a sin? He said, not acknowledging our relationship just because of the disability that my wife has is a clear abuse of investigative power. The performance of the investigator in charge and his greed for cracking down on crime and greed for...
Stephanie, I'm trying to bring you in, but you're kind of halfway in, halfway out. So when I click on you, you're not, it won't let me bring you in. You probably got to go back out again. Hit them thumbs up, man. Let's hit the thumbs up.
Promotion are questionable. The letter continues. My wife voluntarily went to the district's office with me and registered our marriage. The police are now trying to make me, the husband, a criminal and deny a woman love and marriage. Is that really justice?
But what is he sentenced for?
For essaying kidnapping his wife.
Oh, but they are legally married?
Yes. Nas said the accusations against him right now are absolutely absurd. He lastly asks the producers of the show, is love a sin? Think about that. What? All because the woman he loved has the mental capacity of a 6-year-old, according to her mother, and technically in her specific case does not have the capacity for informed consent? How is that him taking advantage of her? Even though technically she said the word yes, she signed the marriage certificate, is that really a sin? Just because her mental capacity is at 6 years old? Why should that ever stop him from being intimate with her? The producers are instantly intrigued, and it's time to go investigate. First stop would be Gangneung, South Korea. Every town has something that they're known for, especially in the producer world. Each town that they investigate in South Korea, there's always a case that they remember it by. This small town in South Korea was known for every June, children disappear. That was what all the kids were told. And even though parents would say, no, it hasn't happened in such a long time. If you watch closely, if you go there maybe May, you're not going to see a lot of kids walking home alone, month of June. Even during May, you see parents starting to slowly rein in the leashes. You honestly won't see many kids out and about in general the entire month. It's a very tense 30 days. The minute May starts rolling around, parents are already preparing. They're canceling all of their plans. They're just going to stay home after work every single night. If you ask one of the townspeople, hey, I'm new here. What's going on? Why is everybody acting so strange all of a sudden? Everybody seems on edge. They'll just sigh and respond, neither the heavens nor the earth knows what really happened. What does that mean? There had always been these superstitious rumors that the town would have to give up a child every single summer, usually a little girl, that something or someone is taking little girls away every June as some sort of annual sacrifice. It's hard to say if it's true. Some kids say it's kind of like the boogeyman. The boogeyman comes and snatches you every June. Others say it's just sensationalism. The truth is, a few girls went missing in June for a few years, and now it's a whole thing. It was a few years ago, 2 girls had gone missing, both in June, both 1 year apart. They were both walking home from elementary school, and they just kind of evaporated into thin air. It's like a hole opened up in the ground and just swallowed them up. There was no textbook left behind, no backpack, nothing. They just vanished, no evidence.
The body's not found?
Never. Now, that's not what the producers are in town for. They're in town to investigate a human rights concern involving a woman with intellectual disabilities. They didn't know that both these cases would actually be connected. The first stop the producers make in the town is a police station. They want to talk to the detectives on Mr. Na's case. Are they violating human rights or not? The detective breaks the case down for them. It's not a hard concept. He claims it's love. He claims she's mentally capable of getting married. She's of legal age. There's nothing wrong with it. Love is not a sin. She claims she has no idea what marriage is or what the certificate is. She claims that she signed it without understanding it. Her mom and social worker state she has the mental capacity of a 6-year-old and cannot give informed consent. She does not want to be with him. She has stated that he was holding her captive. So therefore, he's charged with SA and kidnap. I'm not sure why we're even talking about human rights violations right now. The producers nod. Maybe they followed a bad lead. The story is sad, but it's not really complicated. It is in the sense, but it's not what they're looking for in a documentary. They need something to pitch to their network. This is not that. But as they're on their way out, the officer continues. Besides, that guy should just stay single. His first attempt at marriage, even bigger disaster. What do you mean? Oh yeah, he was married once before. That's why he was in jail the very first time. This is his second time in jail, second time getting married. We know his ex-wife pretty well. She was down here a lot talking to us. She's the one that accused him of running a child snuff film ring. A while back, a group of American documentary filmmakers decided that they were going to venture into the Amazon rainforest to film a documentary about a cannibal community. There was going to be a director, scriptwriter, and 2 cameramen. They tell all of their friends about it. They'd been preparing for this trip for months now, and it's finally time. And then they just vanish in the Amazon rainforest, disappear into thin air.
When?
This was in the 80s. Professor 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗞, an anthropologist from NYU, decides he's going to run a little rescue mission to find the missing documentary makers. The plan is honestly horrendous. They're going to infiltrate the cannibal community and try to figure out what happened and try to get the tapes back, try to find the documentary makers. He and his team end up finding out they're dead. There is a shrine that the community made where their skeletal remains are laid out, as well as their reels of film. The professor somehow is able to make a deal to leave with the reels of film, and he has no idea what's in them. He can't even play them until he gets back to New York. He goes back home, reviews this recovered footage, and it's like watching a real-life horror movie. The 4 filmmakers have a very rough start to their trip. A few days in, their guide, Felipe, is bitten by a venomous snake. There's nothing they can do about it. There's nobody around. It's too late. They're too deep into the forest to leave now and get him medical attention. Meaning either the venom is going to spread to the rest of his body or they have to cut his leg off. So they cut his leg off with a machete in the middle of the Amazon rainforest in an effort to save his life, but he ends up dying anyway. They just leave him behind. The group make it to the location of the cannibal community, and they see one of the younger community members walking by themselves. So what do? Do they ask him to introduce them to their community because they're making a documentary? No, they shoot him in the leg so that they can easily follow him back to his community-centered area. When they do, they just wage war from the get-go, which I'm so confused by. The 4 filmmakers, yes, they want a documentary, but they mainly want good footage. So they intimidate a whole tribe, kill a pet pig, herd the community members into a tent, burn the tent down. The professor keeps watching, and it just gets worse. The 3 male filmmakers film themselves taking turns R-wording a young girl. The only one trying to convince them to stop is the female screenwriter, but she tells them to stop because she argues, you guys are wasting precious film footage. We don't have that much film. You can see in the background that they're being watched by the locals. They know what the filmmakers are doing. The filmmakers later find the girl impaled on a wooden pole, meaning a pole went through her private area and then through her mouth, and she's impaled on it. She's dead. They state in the documentary that it's because she's no longer pure. They claim the locals killed her for her loss of virginity, but it's pretty clear from the way the filmmakers are talking about it, the professor has an inkling that they R-worded her and they killed her and they set it up like this to get better footage. In the end, the community attacked the filmmakers for what they did to the girl. One of them, Jack, they use a large machete to cut off his private parts, and even after he's dead, they continue to mutilate his body. F.E.E.D, the screenwriter, is captured, stripped, gang essayed, beaten to death, and then ultimately beheaded. One of the other camera guys keeps trying to convince the other survivor, we have to go and try and save her, but he's not listening. He just keeps filming the assault on her from afar.
I thought there's only 3 people left.
4.
Oh, there's still 4 left.
Oh, so 2 just died. There's 2 left.
Oh.
Now, eventually, the last 2 filmmakers are located, killed, all the while their cameras keep rolling. And the footage is probably some of the most graphic, intense violence you can see on a screen. There's horrific torture, essay, animal cruelty, murder, cannibalism, all caught on camera. There's scenes of mutilation, severing of private parts. Professor Monroe would say he was left pondering who the real cannibals really are. The footage premiered in Milan, Italy.
What?
Where the man who had the footage and owned it and premiered the footage was promptly arrested. The man was arrested for animal cruelty and murder. This man argued in the court, please, you have to believe me. None of that is real. I'm a movie director. All of this is fake. None of it is real. You have to trust me. Look me up.
Wait, so it was not released by NYU professor?
No.
Is he involved?
He is a movie character. This man is now claiming, I'm the director of this movie. These are all fake people. It's a fake documentary.
I see.
But the authorities don't believe him because none of it looks fake. It doesn't look like a fake documentary.
Like, it looks so real.
Yes.
It looks like people actually died.
Yes.
So
they're saying if it's a fake documentary, we still think that you killed people with this plot because none of this, there's no CGI. It looks real. They don't believe him. It looks very real, especially the part where the girl is essayed and then gets impaled on a stake by the river. She has the stake going through her private parts, through her body, out of her mouth. They believe he created a real life snuff film to win awards, to make money, to dupe the public into watching it. It wasn't until during the trial, they would confirm that the actress was very much alive. And they still didn't believe it. They thought maybe it's a lookalike, maybe it's a twin sister. They had to physically demonstrate how the killing scenes were done in court to prove that nobody died on set.
Okay, so there was a film that looked so much like a snuff film was released.
Yes, and the plot of it is what I told you, the 4 film documentary makers, but none of it is done in a way where it's like, hey, this is actually a movie. It looks like a documentary. Then the New York City professor finds it.
Yeah.
He's watching it.
Yeah. So the police was like, this is a crime right here. This is a real snuff film.
At first, they believed, okay, maybe this is a documentary, but you can't just air people dying like that. Then the movie director is like, actually, it's not a documentary. It's a mockumentary, one of the first of its kind. This is before they were around. And nobody died. I'm not airing footage of real people's deaths. And they're like, we don't believe you. We think that you actually killed these people to make this movie. So we're going to arrest you for murder and animal cruelty. Wow. He goes to trial. They bring photos of the girl that is still very much alive. And the authorities are like, we still don't believe you. So they have to now reenact the killing scenes in the movie to show you, hey, no, really. The scene where the girl is impaled by the stake, they had a stake embedded into the ground and a bicycle seat that she would sit on. Then she put a basil wood on her mouth to hold it, and she appeared like she had this stick going through her body. But the way that she's able to keep completely still is crazy, but only then were the murder charges dropped, and the film was banned for animal cruelty. There are actual animal torture scenes in the movie. Those were not faked. There's a scene where a turtle is deshelled and butchered. They killed a total of 7 animals for the film for whatever sick reason. Truly, apparently there was no reason for those plot points. Not that that would excuse anything, but truly, it wasn't even part of the plot, if you will. It was just extra sadism thrown in for why the hell not? It's really sad if we get into it, but the animal cruelty scenes are brutal. Apparently, they wanted a scene for no good reason of them killing a monkey, but they didn't like the first take. So they took another monkey and decapitated it. Again, just because. Additionally, the girl that is essayed by filmmakers, apparently she was 14 at the time of filming. She did not understand English, and there was a general thought on the internet that she had no idea what kind of scene she was filming. This was her first time even seeing a camera. I believe she's Colombian, and I don't think that they should have used someone that young either way, but it said that she never had seen a camera in her life. She never knew what this scene was about. She understood no English, so it's believed online that she went to this thinking she's going to smile for the camera, but no, they're like, you're going to just start running, and there's these men chasing her. It seems incredibly unethical. I wonder if even illegal. All in all, I believe the director did deserve jail time for his animal abuse, as well as forcing the crew into deeply uncomfortable simulations of violent crimes. I mean, he truly did not care for the actors. The actors straight up said he was a sadist. But this was one of the world's first introductions at the time on a mass level to the world of snuff films, which by definition is a movie or video produced for profit or financial gain that shows scenes of actual homicide. Now, snuff films don't technically exist, and mainly because I think the definition of what a snuff film is very, very narrow. It has to be recorded murder for the purpose of selling that tape as a commodity and entertainment. It cannot be recorded murder that was produced for enjoyment that later gets circulated for shock value or for profit. So there are actually lots of videos that depict death where gangs, cartels, war times, there will be beheadings, there will be shocking scenes of torture and violence that are filmed and then recorded, released for the mass media consumption, or at least that's their initial point.
But they're not trying to make money.
They're not trying to make money. And additionally, there's no really plot. So snuff films kind of do have a plot. It does have to be a little bit like a movie.
Got it.
It has to be entertaining. It cannot just be shocking gore. It has to be murder with the sole intention of filming and making money off of that murder scene. So when you deal with videos of abuse against the younger generation, typically, it does appear that a lot of the injuries sustained would result in death, but it would not be considered a snuff film. Because the purpose of someone viewing that video would not be to see a murder of a kid, but more so for the explicit content involving that kid prior to the murder. There's a lot of articles out there being like, guys, don't worry, snuff films don't actually exist. The FBI haven't found one yet, but they have found videos of brutal murders being circulated on the deep web, essays that lead to murder that have been circulated, but they don't categorize those as snuff films. So it is safe to assume that many netizens think, yeah, I mean, technically by definition, they don't exist, but our idea of them and what they are, they exist. Even things like hurtcore exist, which is a particularly extreme form of torture videos that are incredibly illegal to produce, purchase, own, and even watch. It's, quote, made for people who get off on the infliction of pain or even torture and death on a person who is not a willing participant. One netizen put it, there's no limit to human depravity out there. Plenty of people with enough money to do whatever they want. If what they want is a true snuff film, then they're going to get a true snuff film. And now, this man, Mr. Na, the police said, a man who was at the time in his mid-20s, looked like he just graduated from college, is being accused of running a child snuff film ring by his own wife? They tell the producers it was never proven, though. And that was over 15 years ago when she accused him. Now he's older and he's in jail for essaying and kidnapping his new wife, and he wants his human rights to be protected. When Mr. Na finds out the producers are looking into his case, not about the human rights violations, but about the missing girls, he writes another letter to them. The criminal charges are only suspicious, and most of them are not true. As it may have a negative impact on the case that I'm currently on trial for, please postpone the broadcast of your story. If only the suspicious content from the police flows out without my truth, the truth of the current trial will also be buried.
Wait, what is he threatening?
He's saying, unless you want to obstruct justice, I would say don't broadcast whatever you think you have, because that's not the real truth.
So the beginning of the story, the little discovering, was the first wife, correct?
Yes. And that was 15 years ago. And now 15 years later, he's writing a letter to producers being like, hey, I'm in jail because I'm being accused of these crimes of trying to marry my second wife. And they're saying I'm kidnapping her. They go to investigate that second wife thing. And the police are like, oh, there's so much more to the story. This guy's crazy. He was in prison for a while.
So the first crime was 2003. That means the second one's 2018?
Yes, it's recent.
Whoa. So this is like he's been around for a while.
Now, Mr. Na starts referring to himself in third person in the letters. He says, the informant was suspected of a crime, not because he committed the crime, but because the police wanted to accuse him. The police fabricate and distort a lot of things, especially against those who are weak and have nothing. Mr. Na falls into that category. If Mr. Na had truly committed a crime, would he have reported it to a broadcasting station under his real name? It's a very strange response. That if the producers didn't feel like there was more to the story before, they definitely think there is now. The response makes them want to dig deeper. 1 year, this is the ex-wife, so back to 2003. 1 year before finding the tapes in her husband's closet, Somi starts noticing her husband's not acting normal. I mean, to be fair, everyone in town is kind of on edge. Another little girl had gone missing, but they didn't have a daughter. They're not exactly as high risk as all the other people in town who are freaking out about their own children. But this vacation is supposed to be about them and reconnecting and focusing on their relationship. And it just seems like the last thing on her husband's mind is relaxing. In fact, he's in the corner of the hotel room writing a will. He's insisting that they need a will if they're ever going to die, which logically, yeah, sure. But time and place for everything, no? I mean, who does that in the middle of a vacation? He even randomly starts writing a letter to his uncle that he hasn't spoken to in years. Somi is so confused, she leans over his shoulder to get a glimpse of the letter, and it reads, "It seems to be the first time I'm writing a letter to my own uncle. The trip has already been planned and has nothing to do with any incident. Also, the recent incident has nothing to do with me. And I confess that I lied."
What?
What incident? What is he talking about? What does it even mean? But the weirdest part of the trip comes at night. The two of them would be laying in bed, the lights are off, the motel's blackout curtains are drawn, it's pitch black in the room, and Somi is just about to drift off into sleep and she thinks her husband's already knocked out, it's quiet. Then she hears something. She hears him talking. What did he just say? She holds her breath and he says it again. Okay, what was that? He's muttering something under his breath. And then she hears it again, and this time it's a bit clearer. There's someone in the walls. For the first time ever, Somi is actually pretty happy to be back home from her little trip with her husband. She hoped going back to their routine is going to help him get somewhat back to normal. I mean, but that's not what happens, not even close. When they get back, one of the first things her husband wants to do is go to the movies, which, fine, but he wants to go by himself, which, I mean, again, I guess it's fine. She kisses him goodbye, but there's something about the way she grabs her coat. She waits a little bit while before running out of the house and following him down the street. It's not like she's following him. Technically, she could be going to the market. It's also in the same direction. Who's to say, really? She stays very far away from Na, and he cannot see her, but she follows him all the way towards the movie theater. He does end up going to the movies. But at one point, when he's walking through an alleyway, out of nowhere, he just starts sprinting, booking it, sprinting down the alleyway, looking behind him, hiding behind giant dumpsters, poking his head out, eyes wide, hiding again. He looks like someone is chasing him. But nobody is chasing him.
You don't think he saw her?
No.
Oh, like he's running away from someone else.
Yes. Because if he sees his wife, you don't hide like that. You don't run like that. He's running like someone's chasing him with a knife. Somi turns around and quickly goes back home. Later that night after dinner, Somi starts cleaning again, and she sees sitting near the top of the trash can a ripped up movie ticket from earlier today. She bends down, grabs as many of the pieces as she can, and starts puzzling it back together. And on it is a handwritten scribble. It reads, quote, "I have to use her and then get rid of her." Who is he talking about? What is he referring to? Does it have anything to do with the little girl that just went missing? She was the second girl in town to disappear into thin air, and the whole town had been looking for her. Does it have to do with her?
So by this point, the wife is suspecting of the husband, or
she has
a lot of questions?
A lot of questions. I think you know when you have those intrusive thoughts and you're like, okay, I am creating a movie in my head. This is not real. I think it was one of those moments because she does not report it at all. Every single karaoke bar, that's the search initiative. That's it. Comb through every single one of them. Flip tables, look under the booths, look in the vents. 300 police officers are out searching for the little missing girl. They're combing through the back of these karaoke rooms, inside the private rooms, tossing everybody out, asking all the employees for IDs. And it's all because this one post goes viral. An online forum post starts going viral 25 days after a little girl in town named 𝗂𝗡 disappears. She's 8. She vanishes. The title of the online post reads, "I saw a girl who looks just like 𝗂𝗡, the one that disappeared. I saw her somewhere and I'm pretty sure it's her." The rest of the message reveals the OP is a woman in her 20s. She did not just see someone like 𝗂𝗡. She sold 𝗂𝗡. That's what she details in a post.
She sold?
Yes. That's what she details in a post that's basically a confessional of how she lured a small child, a small girl, to hang out with her, then handed her over to 2 men who promised to pay her for little girls, $1,000 per little girl. She states in the post, nothing against 𝗂𝗡 in particular. She just lured the next girl she could find, which happened to be 𝗂𝗡. She said she didn't really know what these men had in.
I'm sorry, y'all, but this is why I'm watching this. I finally got a number. How much does it cost to buy a little girl? This one thing made this whole night worth it. I'm gonna rewind it. I mean, I'm not saying that this is the price, but it got to be a reasonable
a small
number.
Girl to hang out with her, then handed her over to two men who promised to pay her for little girls, $1,000 per little girl. She states in the post, nothing against Han in particular. She just lured the next girl she could find.
You're muted. You're muted.
Thank you. We're looking for kids. I don't have a clue to walk up to somebody that I know or suspicious to get me a little kid, girl or boy, right? They freaking know if you bull jabbing or not. Just like we speak a lingo, we speak a chat room lingo, right? And all the laugh out loud and all that stuff. LOL, they speak a lingo in the streets, y'all. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So if you say, let's say we done saved up all this money, we're gonna buy a little girl or a little boy trying to find the kids for $10,000. Like, dude, this dude don't even know the streets. This is set up. You're a cop. The going rate is, well, she just said $1,000. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you go to a store and you're trying to buy some tennis shoes, and all the tennis shoes is about $100, $200 for tennis shoes, and you get this one pair of tennis shoes cost $10,000. You be like, what? That ain't my budget, dog. It's in the wrong store, so to speak. So this is the reason why I'm looking at all this, just to get a ballpark figure to know where to negotiate at.
To be Han, basically a confessional of how she lured a small child, a small girl, to hang out with her, then handed her over to two men who promised to pay her for little girls, $1,000 per little girl. She states in the post, nothing against Han in particular. She just lured the next girl she could find, which happened to be Han. She said she didn't really know what these men had in store for her, only that they were going to take her away in this black sedan. Perhaps they wanted to illegally put her up for adoption. That was like the weird, sick hope she had, that she was going to find a nice little family that would love her and she would make $1,000. But instead, she states one day she comes across a karaoke store where she sees what looks like that little girl working in the karaoke store. Side note, she said that she's full of remorse and guilt, and that's why she's posting this. But she also mentions she never got paid the $1,000 that she was owed.
The 8-year-old girl is working at a karaoke bar?
Karaoke bars in South Korea are honestly typically a lot of fun if you are over age and you go knowing some security measures, but it's not really the type of place that your parents would want you to hang out in. It's like clubbing. Clubs are fun in the US if you're of age and everything is legal, but is it the safest place in the world? Is it a place where your parents are going to be like, yes, go every single night? There's nothing inherently wrong or shady about them. There's bad people everywhere. But it is a place where bad things have known to happen just because it's associated with nightlife.
And this was years and years ago, right?
Yes.
Decades ago.
Yes.
So it's more unregulated.
I'm assuming it's a lot more regulated now, but there have been allegations even today that some shady stuff is happening. I think not so much in the more tourist areas, but maybe smaller towns. Now, there had been instances where girls had been kidnapped and forced almost into a labor trafficking, sex trafficking ring inside of karaoke bars. There have been instances where children in South Korea have been kidnapped and they would be purchased by adults in these karaoke bars. Yeah, there have been unverified internet rumors that some of them were these underage kids would be forced to perform on tables in private karaoke rooms by using fruits to do things to their body. I don't know. That is completely unverified. It's an internet rumor. Now, this is still the very big first lead that the police have about missing Han. She might be working in a karaoke bar. The missing girl's dad, Helen's dad, even tries to meet with some of the former kids that had been kidnapped by karaoke bars just to see what their day was like, how they could find someone that is being moved around in these bars, the best way for them to escape. He starts sleeping outside of karaoke bars in the area until the owners will let him in to search, until they talk to him. And that's when he finds out that his daughter is not in any of them. Authorities had searched through 𝗥𝗡𝗞, Busan, checking every single karaoke bar, subway stations, even going through the terminals one by one. If she was sold as a karaoke worker, it's likely she's traveling through the subway stations or perhaps even spending time and maybe even sleeping in one. But she's not there. She's not anywhere. They don't even have a clue or a better lead. Usually when they search this intensely, you get another lead you can follow while you're searching. Someone says, oh, actually, I remember seeing someone like that and she went that way. But they turn up nothing, which means the only lead they still have is tracking down the original anonymous poster, the one that claims she sold the girl, the one that claims she's now in a karaoke bar. There was a point in my life where I felt like I was drowning in debt. Every time I thought I was making progress on my credit card debt, it was like my car knew. I swear at one point, if you feel lucky, away from their actual town. There's better internet cafes closer. Up in a PC bang, internet cafe in a nearby town. Are you sure this is the one? It's further away from their actual town. There's better internet cafes closer. Side note, an internet cafe, you can pay money to log onto one of their computers and use their Wi-Fi. They usually have food and snacks and really fast Wi-Fi, so a lot of people will specifically go to play games. But why would she go all the way here to write her post if she's from our town? They walk inside. Hi, we're with the police. We're going to need to see the CCTV camera footage from the past few weeks. Now they know why she came all the way here. No CCTV cameras. They said she paid in cash. They don't keep a log of customers. I'm sure now in 2024 in most areas, it's very different. Like South Korea is known as CCTV land. But back then you could likely pay cash and browse the internet with no data trace. You wouldn't even have to log on with your government ID number. I think things are different now, but you wouldn't have to. I feel like there's now limitations to that, but that means she was on a public computer, no record of her paying for that computer time in a place where there's no CCTV cameras. It's truly anonymous. They don't know what she looks like, so they can't even describe the poster to the employees. Besides, the employees aren't really trying to pay attention to every single customer coming in. That's when the detectives start thinking, what if the point of the post wasn't to tell the truth? What if the point of the post is to lead us the wrong way?
Whoa.
But what does that mean? An expert criminal profiler said, in my opinion, the credibility of the online post is very low. It's very abstract, and the actual content of how and why she gave the child over to these men was completely omitted. Why was that passing child in particular selected? It's omitted. The facts of the crime are only 2 lines out of the entire post. The profiler continues, contrary to the post that says she's now reporting this out of guilt for the child, it is strange that there is no content about the child's emotions on the report. You would imagine one would write, she looks so scared. She must have been so terrified. The look on her face still haunts me in my sleep. I can't stop thinking about the way her face looked up at me. But nothing about the child or the child's reaction. The post gave almost no specifics. How did the child follow her? How did she lure the child? How did the child react when she realized she was being taken away? There is nothing. It just reads, my heart hurts for the child. The expert profiler stated ultimately, in general, it does not match the psychological state that appears when a person commits a crime like this and feels remorse. It is difficult to see the post as a credible one. But now the police have an even bigger question. If it is a false report, who wrote it and why? What would be the reason for the post? To confuse the investigators? Somi slams down the VHS tapes on the table when her husband Na comes home. It's unclear exactly what was said during this confrontation, but it doesn't seem like Na cared too much that his wife found out. Or maybe he knew it's too late to act like he's still the same husband because he just drops the act. He just tells her straight up, I will let you leave. I will let you walk out of here on your own 2 feet on one condition. I let you leave as long as you never speak another word of this to anybody. Somi is terrified. On one hand, she knows she should have gone to the police with this, but she hoped that her husband would tell her it was fake, it was all edited. She wanted to give him the chance to explain, but no, he's confirming these are very real. And now the only way out alive probably is to take this deal, to walk out and never speak another word of it. which she needs to walk out of here, does she not? So she nods and she starts packing up her things. After years of marriage, he just tells her, you know, this is also a very normal thing in other countries. These types of videos, everybody makes snuff films for a profit. Someone told me it was lucrative, so I'm just selling it to foreign markets. I'm just doing it for money. It's not sick and twisted. 𝗤𝗎 practically runs out of his house, and soon afterwards, Mr. Na is arrested for murder. But not the murder of the girls. He's arrested for a completely separate murder.
This is crazy. It just keeps going.
Yes. Na had plans to end this whole messy thing. I mean, it's only a matter of time, honestly, that his wife or ex-wife, it's very unclear. Whatever his 𝗤𝗎 is to him now, she's gonna officially leave him. And she might tell someone eventually, maybe 5 years down the line, maybe 10 years down the line, or maybe there's going to be rumors that she starts. And it's not even 𝗤𝗎 that he's worried about. He feels like he has good grip on 𝗤𝗎. He has good control over her. But it's actually her little brother. Na always hated her little brother, his brother-in-law. He's the younger brother to 𝗤𝗎, and he acts like he's the man of the house, always trying to protect his sister, giving her advice. Eventually, Na knows that 𝗤𝗎, his wife, would tell her brother about what she saw, and he would, of course, give her unsolicited advice and ask her to go to the police station and make sure she tells them everything. So he hides. That's what Na does. He hides. July 3rd, 2002, around 10:30 a.m., he starts hiding outside the bushes of his house. Hiding in the bushes. His house. Na had asked 𝗤𝗎 to come find his credit card, which was partly true. He did lose it. But more importantly, he had the whole apartment set up so that he could kidnap her.
Ex-wife?
Yeah. Because if she's being held hostage, then she can't really say anything, can she?
Okay, so he's backtracking now.
Yes.
He's trying to lure her back.
But he's in the bushes, peeking his head out, and he sees 𝗤𝗎 walking up to the door with her brother. And it becomes very clear to him in that moment that everything he perhaps thought is very true. He's never going to be able to control his wife. Her brother's around. He will always be the dangerous variable. So he makes up his mind in that moment he has to kill him. He takes out the sharp knife that he was initially going to use to threaten his wife and kidnap her and allegedly hold her hostage. He waits for the front door to open. He rushes in, ambushes the little brother-in-law, stabbing him first straight in the forehead, then his shoulder, stomach, and back. His brother-in-law died right there on the floor from excessive blood loss.
All in front of the 𝗤𝗎.
Yes, and he also assaults 𝗤𝗎.
Like stabbing her.
Doesn't stab her, but he beats her.
But not try to kill her.
No. Now, it's really hard to argue that it's not you that stabbed someone in the forehead with a knife. The knife belongs to Na. This is Na's house. Na has motive. Na murders his brother-in-law in front of his wife. He has witnesses, and he has the victim's blood on his arms. It's very hard to argue that. The arrest, investigation, and even trial goes by really quickly. There really is no big investigation. He did it. What else is there to investigate? The authorities barely talk to 𝗤𝗎 and ask for her side of the story, and she's not going out of her way to tell the police anything. Na quickly gets sentenced to 15 years in prison, and the book closes. But there's a few cases that detectives always say keep them up at night. Most of the time they're unsolved, but sometimes they're solved, and there's just something that isn't clicking in their minds. It doesn't make sense. The lead detective on this case is laying in bed. Na killed his brother-in-law because his wife was going to leave him. That's what's stated in court. Her brother was going to help her leave, but technically she had already moved out. So the worst was over, and he didn't seem upset when she moved out. It wasn't until later he kills his brother-in-law. So why? This is the case that this detective thinks about before he goes to bed for the next 4 years. Finally, he can't take it anymore, and he reaches out to the ex-wife's 𝗤𝗎. This is years after he's already in prison for murdering her brother. And this time she's willing to tell him everything. I think the distance helped. I imagine she was very terrified. She tells the detective everything, the marriage, the tapes. She tells him about the VHS tapes, and he doesn't even know how to respond. The whole thing sounds like it's straight out of a Karen Slaughter thriller novel, which, by the way, one of Karen Slaughter's books has the exact premise of this. Local girl goes missing. Wife checks successful husband's computer and sees videos of girls that look just like the missing girls, and they're creating snuff films. The husband runs a snuff film empire. I did a BAM on it, which I'll link, but it's so eerie similar to a novel.
What was it called?
Pretty Girls.
Right, that's what it reminds me of.
Yes. And the detective is like, there's no way this is real. They ask her to describe the girl in the video, her facial features. 𝗤𝗎 tells him enough detail what she saw in the video, that truly it would be weird for her to make it up. She has no vengeance against her ex-husband. He's already in jail. And of course, she probably hates the guy, but there's no reason for her to make this up. It's not even in line with how people usually lie or make false reports. And the girl's homie is describing 5 years after the fact, looks exactly like the girl from the missing girls posters. Even years later, she still remembers all the details so vividly, and she's describing it with so much emotion that the detective just trusts her. He said, she talked in great detail. I didn't show her any of the photos of the missing children in advance, but she gave very accurate statements. She spoke again in such great detail. He runs back to his team. We have to look into it. We have to search Na's house now. We need to find those tapes. Before the police search Na's house, an interesting letter is sent out from prison. A letter from Na to his family. It reads, what did you do with my bag and computer? Not the ones in 𝗟𝗔, but the other ones. You should dismantle the computer and break it and dispose of it. What about my luggage and belongings, the ones in Gwangju? When you come to visit me in prison, just talk about my well-being, not this and that. I'll ask if I'm curious.
Who did he send it to?
His mom.
So he wants the mom to destroy evidence.
Yes, but he writes it so
Crystal's
nonchalant. What did you do with
opinion.
my computer? You should probably dismantle it and break it and get rid of it.
I wonder what the mom does then.
She does that. It seems like she does exactly that. When the police storm into his old house, the first thing that sticks out to them is it's almost like a supervillain movie. Na has 2 boards on his wall, a chalkboard and a whiteboard, and on it are just a bunch of random symbols and characters, multiple different languages squashed together. There's Korean, there's Japanese, there's English, periods randomly, exclamation points, numbers. It looks like some sort of code. Look, there's 360 characters used. The purpose of the code is to make decoding very, very difficult. That's what the authorities believe, to confuse the reader, and it's working. Whoever reads it, if I walk into his house and stumble upon it, me as the reader, I don't know what's going on. He created a code with his own rules, and steadily he is writing in secret letters. The police have to create some sort of index to try and decipher it, and the first message that they're able to decipher on the board is, written in large code across the top, reads, use women financially. Let's keep going. What about this one? Following the code index they created, if the code index is correct, this one says, King of the Brilliant Nation. I will use my psychopath techniques and I will film pornography. The rest of the codes that have been deciphered have not been released verbatim, but it has been described as content relating to desires for crimes against children and desires for child grooming.
How is this not a movie? The code is alleged?
No, the idea that he's connected to those missing girls is alleged.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But
and the tapes haven't been.
Another thing is, y'all ever notice that all these people that's into this kid trafficking type stuff, they use codes. They deep into the, I don't know, the misleading the Bible. They also deep into rituals, or you gotta know the what you call it, you gotta speak the language. That's what I'm looking at now. I don't know why. You know, Murph, you still there, Murph, or you gone? Steph, you still there?
No, I'm still here, mate. There's just been a bit of something's going on at the moment. Jags just had to jump on with Donut because he's having to go at Shane and all of the Atwood crew.
Oh, for real?
I've been yeah right now.
Can we go over there? I noticed our numbers dropping, but long story short, man, I gotta analyze this a little bit more, because like for example, I want y'all, my true fans, to know,
right? But those
of the Brilliant Nation index to try and decipher it, and the first message difficult. That's what the authorities believe, to confuse the reader, and it's working. Whoever reads it, if I walk into his house and stumble upon it, me as the reader, I don't know what's going on. He created a code with his own rules, and steadily he is writing in secret letters.
See, a code and secret letters, they don't want to get caught, because they know society knows what you're doing is wrong. So to get to these kids, huh?
100%.
Yeah, to get to these kids, it's like I don't know the words. I can't reiterate a lot of stuff, but I'm studying to figure something out because I mean I can get so deep into this stuff and focus on it where I would get people bringing kids right here to me. Does that make sense? And once the kids are here to me, then they know if they program the kids, they brainwashed them or gaslighted them. Because I just learned that word, gaslight, right? Once you brainwash somebody, you can't unbrainwash somebody in 1 hour or 2 hours. So if you have I don't know, I'm thinking of a term like a S worker, a woman, a streetwalker. That's what I want. I'm trying to make sure I don't use the wrong terminology to get X. Yeah. So if you got yourself a walker, a female walker that's walking the street, and you say how much, they tell you X amount of hours. So you can't, in them X amount of hours, they want their money. They want you to do what you hurry up and do what you got to do, get away. You can't take them a little bit of hours and try to talk them into not doing what they doing. Does that make sense? So
yeah, right. Yeah.
You can't unbrainwash a kid or any type of, because they already been trained to get like the movie dang it, what's the name of the movie? Sounds of Blackness. Sounds of Freedom. Sounds of Freedom. Close at the end, he said that he looked deep in that girl's eyes and he was trying to say, he said, I thought this girl was like 21, whatever. Come find out, I don't know if he asked her, whatever. The girl was 14 or 16, whatever the number he said. And I looked deep into her eyes and I looked into her soul. And then I realized that I am the problem. Because people like me having my way with this girl, and he didn't even realize this until he looked at her toenails. And she had these little smiley faces on her toenails and stuff. Something that a 14-year-old would do if she painted her toenails, so to speak. No grown woman. In other words, that was enough to make him click to say, I don't want to bam, bam, wham, thank you, ma'am, to somebody that got smiley faces on their toenails. I want a woman that had their toenails done all white or whatever the case may be, like Puffy said, I like this, I like this. I like certain things. So if I was to have intercourse with anybody, and they got smiley faces and all that type of stuff on their toenails, that would be a turnoff to me. And that's what woke him up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
So I say all that to say this. I'm getting clues because first of all, you got to go deep undercover. And I'm going to need everybody in this channel and everybody to, I don't know if I'm going to have to, I don't know. I hope I don't have to. Somebody going to have to pose this. In order to get these kids, y'all tell me how to get them. Shit, everybody think they got better ideas than I do. You tell me how to go find the kids. You think they leaving a trail or crumb breads, or you can just knock on the door? So you got kids in there for sale? Are they trapped?
But for all of those people that are saying, how are we going to find the kids, right? If we get enough money, maybe, just maybe, we can hire private detectives to go and find the kids.
Yeah, that bull ain't gonna work either. That ain't gonna. We can try it. You hire a private detective. What are you gonna do? You can hire me. I'm a private detective. I detect like a mother.
But you know what I mean? There's people saying, how are you going to find the kids? And it's
right.
It's like,
this is how we're gonna find them. We're gonna hit the streets, and we're going
to use every single idea that we've got to try.
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. You don't look for your everyday weed sellers. You don't look for your everyday weed sellers. You got to look for some big drugs and tell them, look, man, I got this guy, man. He willing to pay top dollar. He want a little kid for like, I'm just saying, man. He told me Look, he told me he would pay $5,000 for a little kid, and I'll split it with you.
Yeah.
That's how you start. That's how you find stuff in the streets. I'm just telling you, I got this little ugly little here go the dude. You find some fat, sloppy, chubby dude that looked like a child molester. He probably a cop. You know what I'm saying? But he just got the look, dirty a little bit, whatever, got a couple of little kids, teddy bears, and you tell them, yo, man, look, man, y'all, you doing this, and you build a relationship with somebody and say, look, man, just keep your eye open, man. We can make $5,000, man. We can make $250 a piece, dog. This dude, I don't know how to find no little kid. What's up, man? You know, oh, man, shoot, I don't know, man. I ain't fucking with no little kids or whatever. But I'll let you know, dog.
Yeah, but this is the whole point of what we're doing, though, Mike, isn't it? Is we're trying to come up with a plan, and any ideas are welcome.
Right. Anybody got an idea is welcome, but I know my idea gonna get them. I ain't know my boo-boos in the chat. Go to sleep, girl. You supposed to be asleep.
Hello, boo-boo.
What's up, boo-boo?
Yeah, I just think there's, people are being dismissive before we've even started, and but
right.
there are many more people that are being supportive than that are being dismissive.
Yeah, it's a lot more people being supportive. I agree, but I'll take a huge task force. No, it'll take a huge task force to go international. You're right about that.
Yeah,
but it'll take a small group of people that can stand behind me to encounter a neighborhood or a zip code or Washington, D.C.
Exactly. And as we said, I think it was yesterday, as we said, even if we find one.
Right. That's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is once we get this whole thing down pat, I'm going to call a couple of people. And when we go and we hit strong and we got the cameras, we live or whatever the case may be, and these people are embarrassed and you got the police out there, we feel if you crack it open something like this, right? Let's say we find a house, I don't know, 4 or 5 kids or somebody doing something they ain't had no business doing. We got the police going and all of a sudden they be like, oh, shucks, Mike and his boys doing something. And I'm one of the cameramen or whatever. I'm just a cameraman. And
exactly. That's all about.
But we got some raw footage that only we got. Then more people will come and be like, oh, shucks, I want to buy a t-shirt and help them.
For those people that think that we're going to find, currently there's 500,000 kids that are missing. Or is it, sorry, 5,000 kids that are missing?
No, 500,000? 500,000.
Is it 500,000? Yeah. So 500,000 kids that are missing. We're not going to, there's no way that we can single-handedly as a group find 500,000 kids.
Yeah. Thank you, Valerie. I see it.
But what
Valerie.
What we can do is make a movement for everybody else to try and help us find as many kids as possible, and that's
right.
That's about.
I know, like we watched the two thing. This thing that's right up here behind me. When that thing dropped, y'all gonna know what time it is. I swear, because there's a lot of government officials. They here. They got to be in the DC area. DC is nothing but a government-driven area, and I know some people that's ready to hit the streets and make a difference. They pissed off. A lot of people pissed off at this government. I was like, yo, man, I mean, it might cost me $5,000 just to pay a crew to go run up in the house because I said so. But when I say so, I'm already went through the 3 strikes you out. I want to do some t-shirts that said 3 strikes you're out. That I bet you that t-shirt will sell. 3 strikes you're out.
3
strikes you out.
Yeah.
You could do a little logo. And it could be a base. I would love to have a baseball coming like this, but your fist coming before the bat or the bat swinging. 3 strikes you out. If I get 100% guaranteed dirt on you once, 100% guaranteed dirt on you twice, and 3 times. You out of here. And that's what big homie Cece was doing. He was like, I said, God, he said, if I got clear proof that you have did something wrong, and I know I'm doing the right thing, I'm coming after you. That's crazy, man. And that's how I used to do it. I always did that. I'm like, you know what? The first time we might have made a mistake. The second time you might have made a mistake, or the person that's telling me this might have made a mistake. But the third time, and all three of these is clear in my book that you are guilty. We have to come, because the police, well, we don't have a warrant to get in there. I cannot believe this boy have stole my equipment. He stole over $7,000 worth of equipment from me. He was in his car. The car has dead tags. He has my equipment on him. See, now I'm going to get pissed off. He has stole my stuff. We used to work together. I called the police. The police is pulling my stuff out of his car and putting it in my car. Is this your stuff? And I'm sitting over here saying, you know, my guitar has a little scar right here. If you look right here, I can describe things that nobody can describe on a guitar. Let me get it together. Like this keyboard, yeah, my laptop has my name on it. He asked me nothing. He said, is this yours? Yeah, this is my, here you go. Apparently, this dude clearly said that he took my stuff. You are caught red-handed with my stuff in your car. You got dead tags on your car. You are on the streets. I can see if you was on private property. I told the police this. I got a criminal justice degree. The police let him go. And the police looked at me and said, man, you got your stuff back. So I told the police, so what you telling me basically is crime does pay. Crime does pay. I don't understand how come the police can ride down the street following dirt bikes, motorcycles. They don't have no tags on the vehicles, and they just not even trying to pull them over.
It's the same here as well, because they've changed the laws. So
right.
You're not allowed to follow them. You're not allowed to police chase them in case it ends up in an accident.
Right. And we know, and I understand that. But when you take a couple of notches out of the belt, you have to add. See, here's the thing. These people are getting away with these crimes, man, because it's hell, what you going to do? You going to suffer through life, or you going to become rich and sell kids and turn your back? If we are on this earth, and I gotta feed my kids, and I gotta feed my people, and I gotta do stuff for my people. Right or wrong, I'm gonna win. That's how they think. Right or wrong, I'm gonna win. Right or wrong, we gotta win. So it's a lot of people. I'm telling you, Murph. There's a lot of people that's well, you know, you need to call the police and do things the right way and do things like I keep saying. They ain't going by no laws. They ain't got no rules. They ain't got no rules at all to take a moped and ride through somebody's neighborhood and just snap. They professionals at this shit, man. They ride through summertime, or we gonna get about 20 little kids this summer. We're gonna ride through the neighborhood. There they go. They playing baseball, football, whatever the case may be. And I'm gonna stop, and my partner gonna get off the daggone bike and snatch one of these little kids up. Make sure he been in the gym exercising, because when you snatch him up, get him on the daggone back of the moped, and we're gonna ride off. Take the little kid. Here you go. Give me my $1,000. That's what the girl said. It costs $1,000. Hell, if I do 3 of those a week, I can make it all the way through the winter.
Just letting you know, Mike, I need to jump off for a few minutes.
Me too. Look here, y'all. We're going. You got anything to say, Steph? Oh, she muted herself, y'all.
You're muted.
It's Sunday, man. I'm gonna let y'all slide real early. We're gonna pick all this stuff up later. But I'm waiting. To be honest, I'm waiting just to let y'all know. First of the year and the 23rd. We're waiting to see what kind of numbers hit the bank account on the 23rd. And then I'm gonna make some decisions.
And for anybody,
while I'm in the Philippines, go ahead.
for anybody that wants something to watch, and for any Jag supporters, jump onto Donut's channel now, because he's trying. Well, any Jag or Atwood supporters, he's literally trying to bring us down, and Jag jump back up again.
Donut, the Jaguar's on Donut's channel now.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to get to his channel.
Did you look it up?
Piece of shit. It's DONTE.
DONAT.
DONAT.
I really want him to get the numbers. That's why I don't want to go with him.
But it's an important conversation, though. I'll send you the link now, mate.
Is that him with break? Oh, I see. Okay, he live now.
If we do it, let's do it from here, because I don't want to. I don't want him to get all our people over there, and then he looks like he already pops up too many times in my dang feed, and I'd be like, well, I don't even watch. I'm not even subscribed to him. I don't know why he keeps popping up.
Either, but he's saying some unsavory stuff, let's say, and that's why Jags had to jump up. She wasn't meant to be there, but he's been saying some wild stuff.
PTSD, bipolar, you know, those letters that get you off crimes.
Got you.
With your mental health.
Got you. Got you.
Is that Jag right there live right now?
Your medicine.
No, no.
Are you
done playing inflammatory?
Huh?
Yeah, that's her now live.
Talking about what Dr. Umar Johnson said, and at the end of that clip, before you cut it, I said,
forward it.
Huh?
Forward it.
millionaires do anything for their
As far as
people
I can forward it.
anyway. See, it's really cute when you cut things off.
That's as far as I can forward it. They got
Oh, you must have a delay on yours then, because
396 people watching. But you know what, man? I think that Jaguar, but you ain't gonna be able to tell Jaguar what to do. I ain't even gonna watch this shit. I'm turning it off. You're not gonna be able to tell Jaguar what to do, but these people are
she's jumped on. She's only jumped on because he's making a video about Shane from the Atwood channel and Maggie.
Who gives a shit? Fuck them little kids. They look, this dude, how many subscribers he got?
Oh, exactly.
This little boy, not now. I gotta use the bathroom. He got 38,000 subscribers, and they want me to subscribe. He got 38,000 subscribers, but see, Jaguar don't know where the separation line is at.
Oh no, Jag just came on to defend the Atwood channel. That's the only reason.
Didn't I just say, boy? What did I just say, Murph? What did I say? Don't nobody listen to me. I said Jaguar should not even go on the channel where she came on to. That's not what I say. She should not go on the channel. Why? Because it's a puny ass. Fuck him, man. I don't give a fuck why she came on. You think that makes a difference? I don't care if her damn nipple was showing.
You're right, because it's just going to put his numbers up.
You just gonna give him breathing room. I tried to tell Maggie that. Don't nobody. That little boy called me Uncle Tom. He called me Uncle Tom. Oh shucks. I better do my Muhammad Ali shuffle and Ray Charles and all. I better. Man, forget that. We got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
But y'all don't see. That's why Eminem don't strike back at people. Have some class. We gotta have some YouTube class. Ooh, I like that. You hear that? You hear that? I'm just saying. I
hear you. I'm with you.
We're gonna be street like all them people. We're gonna be more wise. Yes or no?
Yeah, like it's the type of situation with me. If you knew exactly what went through my mind about that dude,
Right, he is weak. He can't produce a show. He is weak.
Yeah, he
Jaguar Wright can't produce a show because they too busy trying to tell him what he's doing right or wrong and all this. Well, first of all, look here, little boy, and all this type of stuff. Let the little kids play out in the back and let us big boys show you how it's done. That's all I'm saying.
This is the most the most important speech I've ever heard you give.
Because what's happening?
He's literally at the kids' table. He's literally at the kids' table. The kids don't eat with the adults. Period.
Right. Yeah. The kids don't even eat. They can't get in the car and go to the store and drive and pick out the groceries and pick the 11 herbs and spices. All they do is sit there and wait. 38,000 subscribers. That's all you got, my nigga. My medium channel is bigger than that.
And he's using it as, remember when Miley Cyrus was all in everything, good, bad, ugly. That's what it is. It doesn't matter whether it's good news or bad news. It's still news, and it's still going to get people to talk about you. And that was the whole point. And that's what he's doing. Whether he's talking about Jag great and gets her over there because he's talking about her great, or if he's talking about her like a dog and gets her over there because he's talking about her like a dog, the point is he wanted her over there because he knows somebody is going to follow her over there, like, oh, let me go see Jag cuss him out. But at the end of the day, it's telling, the algorithm that, oh, now he's doing great. But it's not even that. So it's like you can't give him no air. I agree. You can't give him no air.
You go look at his numbers, and I guarantee you, recently, the biggest numbers he got, they go Jaguar already, 11,000 views. His biggest, first of all, your biggest video got 69,000 views. When we first came in doing Puffy stuff, we got 100,000 views. Your biggest video is 69,000 views. Our biggest video is 2 million. Why would I even play with this pickle?
Yeah, no, you are right. You are right.
I mean, if that's the case, hell, we might as well go in the streets and jump on everybody who say something negative. Mike, you got big lips. Mike, you think you all this. Mike, you got an ugly car. Mike, your mama said this. Oh my God.
Yeah, but it's different, Mike, when people are being accused of being something that they're not.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, right? See how people don't listen to me? Nobody want to listen to me, but they want to have an excuse to say, well, it's different when people say, no, it ain't different. The difference is fuck him. That's it.
Yeah.
So would you feel the same if he was calling you a PDF?
I don't give a fuck what he calls me. He can call me dumb, ugly, stupid, black, green, orange, too tall, too short. I don't give a fuck what he calls me.
And there's
Just
a
don't
reason
call me
why,
late for dinner. Don't call me late for dinner, though. That's the only thing you right.
And there's a reason why I don't care what he calls me, because of who he is and what he is. Like,
fuck him. People don't know the definition of fuck you. I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't give a fuck what you do. Just don't put your hands on me. Don't touch my mama. Yeah. I don't care what he said. Why should you care what he says? He's little. He's a roach. You don't care what a roach do. You step on him.
Right. He's not. Trust me.
Anybody with a YouTube channel, what's the girl name that lied? Me and Witchcom just talking about English and the other girl that lies. Fuck them, man. And this is what Maggie needs to understand. You've spent how long are you gonna talk about Lionel B? For a week, another month, 6 months. How long are you gonna talk? Another year. You're gonna talk about him for 5 years. It's a fucking world out here you can talk about. Do you understand what I'm saying? Fuck him. I don't give a fuck what he said about Jaguar Wright. And that's what Jay-Z doing about Jaguar Wright. Jay-Z don't give a fuck about Jaguar Wright. That's why he never tried to sue her or anything. Y'all not getting this shit, man.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Jaguar Wright got on Piers Morgan, and so the lawyer said, "Hey, take that off." Yes, sir, no problem. Jaguar, you can talk all the shit you want to talk. That social media bullshit. Negro, you talking about social media views, and I'm up here fucking telling people what to do at the goddamn Super Bowl. We need to be at the Super Bowl, man. Y'all don't hear me, do y'all? Yeah. Don't nobody want to do it my way. They want to do it they fucking way.
Yeah.
And you want to know why I act like this? This shit pisses me off because nobody hears what I'm saying. What they do is you don't know what he said. I don't give a fuck what he said. He could have called you a goddamn what the fuck? I don't know what to say. I don't give a fuck what he says. None of this shit bothers me. I don't give a fuck what he said. What part of I don't give a fuck you don't believe?
There are certain people that your word means nothing to me. So
yeah,
like you are nothing. Like honestly, you're nothing, bro. You're nothing. And if I really want to come off the cuff and tell you about yourself, you be in tears. But you already know what you are. Like you already know what you are. There's no sense in me telling you. You're nothing.
If I go over there and start handling some shit, you best believe it's gonna be handled. This some like, small.
Everything that somebody could say about him, he already knows that about himself. He already knows it about himself. That's why somebody like that, you could never hurt my feelings ever, ever.
AT2 sold out. Sean Otwood, Jaguar Wright, Ronnie Bowe, Afghanistan, Anti-Jay-Z, and Diddy. Man, fuck all this dumb shit. Man, where the goddamn kids at? That's where we was at. I thought we were talking about finding the goddamn kids. Almost had a goddamn plan.
Yeah.
You almost had a plan. Stop it.
Right, shall we say the news stuff about that you've managed to get in touch with a printer and we're trying to see how much it's going to cost to get some t-shirts printed?
Yes, I did send my friend the logo yesterday, last night or whatever, and waiting to hear back how much it would cost for the t-shirts to get printed. My suggestion, because I told him I just wanted to get a couple different I guess mock-ups if he can, or what he thought would look best. But my suggestion is putting the logo big on the back of the shirt and then having like a smaller one in the pocket, maybe on the heart side of like a person's heart, putting like a smaller logo on the front. So because I feel like if you put it in the front big, people won't see it because you're coming forward, but you can always see it from the back. The back doesn't really crinkle or anything, like, so you always see somebody's back and the fullness of their back. So I feel like the logo can go like a big, big logo on the back there. So having two places, front and back, but just like smaller in the front and big in the back.
I think that's a great idea. Also, just to say that Lynette, if I'm not here, she never emailed me, so I've never been able to send her the logo.
Oh, she came on the other day, but you're right. She was that, yeah.
So she said she was going to email me, but she never did. But I think that'd be great if she can do some embroidery on like caps and stuff.
Okay. And I'll have some other news soon. I'm not gonna share it now, but I'll have some other news soon.
Oh, you can take me.
All right. Well, go ahead, Murph. You gotta go over there and defend Stephanie. Jaguar. I can't wait to talk to you know what's hard? Wolfgang.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for him. Because that's a strong woman and you can't tame her. Just like Maggie. I told her twice to leave that little boy alone. Huh? What'd you say, Steph?
No, I was laughing because you said tame her. I said, oh boy.
Yeah, Jaguar Wright is God dang, Jaguar. You got the attention. Her and Ali Carter, to me, they got the attention of the world. And they don't even know how to use it to their advantage.
It's not tame. It's she submits to a strong man. So if you're a strong man, I believe Jag will submit to you. I believe that wholeheartedly. But if you,
She ain't submitting to him. I know that
and I
much.
believe that she submits to Odell. Let me be clear here, because somebody take my words out of context. I do believe that she will submit to him, and I believe he's a strong man. And
we're gonna find out when I talk to him. I'm going on vacation. Bye, y'all. We got some work to do. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. We down to 107. We almost hit 200 today on a Sunday.
Wicked.
Y'all take it light. Y'all take it slow. Y'all tell him Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out, y'all. Love y'all so much, man. I apologize. Sometimes I get stupid.
No.